of Trustees compares a sexual assault and doping scandal to the Larry Nassar case. Chris Davis explains.
Massages, unwanted touching, and multiple rapes are described in the suit, naming former track coach Nick Johnson as the main defendant. He was fired after his arrest and criminal charges in 2020. Hannah Stoffel and Emma Wilson described the assaults and forced doping, where some students got unwanted injections. The suit was filed last week, reports Wish TV. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's been chillier lately as we get further into fall. On Friday, it's expected to get even colder.
It'll be a little breezy behind the cold front with winds around gusting to around 25 miles per hour. But the main story is how cold it might be.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service says highs are only expected to be in the mid-50s and temperatures could dip into the low 40s for high school football games that night. You may have seen them running wild on social media. The Savannah Bananas, a wacky exhibition baseball team from Georgia, will be heading out on a nationwide tour next summer. The final stop on June 30th will be at Victory Field in Indianapolis. Tickets are $25 and kids 3 and younger get in free. Going bananas with your traffic report on the 5s, Matt Baer.
No, it's been a morning. Looking at the south side, eastbound 465, stop and go from Harding over to Emerson Avenue. Westbound lane slow. 65 over to US 31 and 31 closed up in Tipton right now. State Road 28. That is because of railroad maintenance, and it's going to be closed, I'm told, at least until tomorrow night, maybe longer. Traffic sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Invisible Fence brands, exclusive technologies make their containment systems the most advanced on the market, giving your pet freedom and you confidence in their safety. Visit InvisibleFence.com to schedule your free consultation. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
The Inflation Reduction Act made more subsidy money available to help qualified people who don't get health insurance on the job and early retirees afford their Obamacare plans. At MyHealthInsurance.com, they specialize in helping you find the right plan that works best for you. Visit MyHealthInsurance.com to see if you're eligible for a subsidy. Shop and enroll online or find a local licensed insurance agent. MyHealthInsurance.com is a brand owned by IHC Specialty Benefits Incorporated, an independent licensed insurance agency. MyHealthInsurance.com.
Oh, McDonald's sounds pretty good. Especially since a double cheeseburger and small fry is only $3. That might be the move. Wait, a 6-piece McNuggets and small fry is also just $3? Tempting. But then the Daily Double is just $3 too. Sheesh. I guess good things do come in threes. Except any size Coke. That's only $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any of the offer or combo meal.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny skies, mild temperatures, beautiful afternoon today, a high of 74. We are partly cloudy, quiet, and comfortably cool, low down to 50 tonight. I'm Wish TV storm tracking meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
A clear radar, partly cloudy, and 47 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 5th, and trending this hour, Velma from Scooby-Doo. It's official. She has come out of the closet as a lesbian. Clips from the brand new movie Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo show the Mystery Machine member googly-eyed and speechless when encountering costume designer Coco Diablo.
You're still talking. Wait. What'd you say?
What's wrong?
Who's gay?
Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
You've been questioning that for years,
Yes.
and now it is official.
Because I remember as a small boy when I used to watch Scooby-Doo, I guess this was probably on the, I don't know, Cartoon Network, USA, I don't know where it was. I used to think, not only who committed the crime at the beginning of every episode.
You meddling kids.
But is Velma gay?
You wondered that as a child?
Now, Velma is not the well-endowed blonde lady.
That's Daphne. Yeah, Velma is the one with the glasses and the short hair.
Oh, right. Sure.
Normally wearing an orange-colored sweater.
Well, thank
goodness they've clarified that.
Also trending is Aaron Judge. The New York Yankees slugger blasted his 62nd long ball of the year last night at Globe Life Park in Arlington. That breaks the American League single-season record set by Roger Maris 61 years ago. There's already a $2 million price for that ball.
The best part of this is there is a video in which, as the ball is crossing the fence, there is a guy in the stands who, I don't know why he did this, because it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I was 3 feet away from this ball. But he's probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 feet. It looks like at no point is he in the game of making this catch.
Yeah.
But he jumps off the stands into the bullpen. And that is a fairly long and lengthy fall. I hope that person is okay. But I don't understand why that happened, other than if there was some sort of theory of maybe they will drop it like the guy on the 61 home run ball did.
Right, and he can scramble and get it off the ground.
So I have no idea why that happened. I hope that person is okay. That is really stupid, whatever or why ever they did that.
Well, could have been worth $2 million. So a broken arm, $2 million.
I don't think they let you keep the ball, though, Casey, if you commit a crime, which I believe invading the field of play is considered a criminal act. A lawyer could clarify that for me. I don't know for sure, but if you come out of your seat and into where the players are, they usually frown on that, and oftentimes you end up going to jail.
Yeah. Finally trending, the cities of Carmel and Westfield. They have made the list of the top 20 small cities in America. This is from Wallet Hub. They compared more than 1,300 U.S. cities with larger populations, over 25,000. They took into consideration 43 key indicators of livability, ranging from housing costs and school system quality to restaurants per capita and the crime rate. And Carmel was number 2. Westfield was number 10. It is 10 minutes after 9. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. Good morning. Thanks for listening.
May we talk about something very important, Casey?
Yeah.
Because
that's what we're here for.
I was going to begin the show with Joe Biden apparently telling Al Sharpton he's running for president again, and all the
I'm going to do it again
buffoonery that is taking place around that. But something happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And I thought we must address this on the show because as many people, somebody's even commented on this on the YouTube chat, can see, I did get a haircut yesterday.
You did.
And I tend to go between 7 and 8 weeks between haircuts because since I got my fabulous hair procedure from We Grow Hair Indy, it's phenomenal to be able to grow that hair back in and show it off to people. But as you can see, I'll duck down here on the
you look very handsome
chat, so you can see that there real quick. However, I got the haircut yesterday. And by the time I paid for the haircut, and I do, as this may shock many people, I do not go to an upscale salon of any sort. And this lady who cuts my hair does a phenomenal job.
You go to the same person every time?
Well, I go to the same place, and oftentimes it is the same person who does it. And so I got good service at the hair place. I'm not upset about that. But by the time I paid for the haircut and the tip itself, it was $21. It was not that long ago that same haircut and tip was $12 or $13. And it dawned on me yesterday, I'm going to have to just invest in shears and do this myself because that is ridiculous that within 2 or 3 years' time, it has gone from $12 to $13 to $21.
You should have your wife help out with that. Maybe she can go on YouTube, learn how to use the clippers, get a nice hairdo. I got my hair done yesterday, too.
Oh?
It was
looks very nice.
Thank you. It was a little more than $21.
Oh, how much?
$121.
Whoa!
Yeah. That's the cost for highlights and a dusting of a haircut.
How often do you go to get this done?
I've had to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Right? I would get a trim every 5 to 6 weeks, but now I'm having to stretch it out to 7 or 8.
Yeah.
9. I mean, I've gone months before, and it just feels so much better when you have a fresh cut and color. But even with the coloring, I've got the Mohawk face framing coloring now, which is where they're just going to put in the highlights around my part so you don't see those dark roots.
The price of being blonde, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, and the interesting thing is I go to a place called Blondie's in Avon, and the beautiful, wonderful young lady who helps me, her name is Casey.
Oh, what are the odds of that?
I know. So we've bonded over that.
The point of all this is because of labor shortage and inflation, you have now...
We're uglier.
I mean, and I agree with you. I used to go every 5 to 6 weeks. It is now 7 to 8 weeks. So I guess over the course of the year, that saves you, 2 or 3 trips, which is fine. First world problem, right? I understand that somewhere in some foreign country, there is someone who is digging water out of a ditch somewhere. But this shouldn't happen in America. Like, it doesn't have to happen in America. And by the way, I am very hesitant to do the Clippers on my own because, as many of our audience will remember, when the women had the show, their name.
Mock and Daisy.
Mock and Daisy, yes. I always forget. When they had the show, when Lockdown McGee shut the state down and refused to let the barbershops open, I was forced to allow them because the tall one, Daisy, said, "Oh, no, I cut my husband's hair. I know how to do this." And took shears on the air.
Right.
But these shears were dull because I think they came from Hammer's wife and they had not been tested. So it hurt like hell and they weren't working. And then they decided, well, we'll just trim it up for you. And then it looked like, as my now wife, then girlfriend at the time described it, you had been a victim of mange. And I went home and had to do it myself with a Bic razor, Casey.
I'm surprised that you trusted someone
to
do that.
They're women.
What else are you going to do?
I'm told believe all women.
You know what I find interesting? You have to tell us more about this, is that you are getting your hair cut because of We Grow Hair Indie. It grows?
Yes.
That's not a toupee you're doing.
No, this is all real. And people remember I was almost bald. And now look at this. I ducked down here on the YouTube chat. It's very
Now, did you
fabulous.
get your hair cut so that you could look presentable for WIBC night?
No, here's the thing with my hair.
I mean, that's
Casey.
why I got mine done. I
was it
like,
really?
I got to get in there so that when we're in front of everybody, I look halfway presentable.
I don't care what people think about me. You should know that by now. I just look in the mirror, though. My problem is, and if I didn't have this issue, and maybe someone has a solution for this, my sideburns get completely out of control. The hair itself on top, even around the edge, is not that big a deal, but it is the sideburns that are completely out of control. And if there was really a way that I could figure out how to manage that, I don't think I would have to go but 2 or 3 times a year to get my hair cut.
Now, are you getting to the age where the hair is starting to grow out of your ears and your eyebrows are starting to grow and you got to get those trimmed as well when you get your hair done?
Casey, I don't own anything that might diminish this perfect appearance that people see on the YouTube chat. It's all natural. It's totally natural.
Well, you just wait. In a few more years, you're going to have hair popping up in places that you've never had hair before.
It's already happening, Casey.
Okay.
And it takes a lot of work to look this good.
16 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And we're going to get to Joe Biden and his declaration, which he whispered into Al Sharpton's ear next. From 93 WIBC. Good morning.
An event no one believed would be allowed to happen again. A very special evening with Tony Katz.
I avoid the use of the words dumb and stupid.
Kendall and Casey.
They're just strapping you in.
Go for it.
Hammer and Nigel.
It's loud, it's chaotic.
And special guests. It's the 2022 edition of A Night with WIBC. Presented by Relay Indiana. It'll be funny, and it won't be PC. Thursday, October 27th at the Schrott Center on the beautiful campus of Butler University. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Oh no, there's water everywhere.
Dad, a pipe broke. My poor carpet.
We need a plumber.
And fast. Roto-Rooter does plumbing. We need somebody to clean up this water. And Roto-Rooter does water cleanup.
As soon as I can find the phone in all this water, I'm calling a bunch of people.
I told you, Roto-Rooter does both. 1-800-GET-ROTO.
Wait, Roto-Rooter does plumbing?
And water cleanup? Yeah, they do both. 1-800-GET-ROTO.
What's their number?
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name.
And away go troubles down the drain.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call. having 38,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, fastest way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift, and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us. Dedicated to the craft of gun making. Dedicated to your freedom, the quality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialist can handle any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR for $50 off your repair or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Marry the house, date the rate. It all starts at thehomeloanexpert.com. Home with a 10-day closing guarantee.
NMLS number 1326241.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Let me warn you, he's a bad dude.
And Casey Daniels.
He's something,
She is magnificent.
On 93 WIBC.
Took a walk and past your house. Late last night.
President Biden told Reverend Al Sharpton that he will seek a second term. This was during a private conversation at the White House. And then Sharpton turned around and informed the National Action Network staff in Washington later that day. Biden said, I'm going to do it again. I'm going. Al, I'm going to do it again. I can envision that. You know, he leaned in and he whispered, I'm going to do it again. So the last sitting president to forego a second term was Lyndon Johnson in 1968.
Yes. And this is what's fascinating is the media, because they're so in the tank for Biden, or for liberalism. And we played that clip yesterday of, I think it was Caitlin Flanagan from The Atlantic, who freely admits the guy's lost his mind. Mm-hmm. But, well, he's really good at liberalism, or his people are really good at liberalism, so why not?
They're just going to back him no matter what.
It's a fascinating time in American history. So the fact that we're even talking about, will the sitting president, who supposedly, allegedly, without any creative jelly bean counting, got 81 million legal votes, the idea that within 2 years we're talking about, should this person even run for president again, when he's really accomplished all the things that he told America he was going to do, in which he supposedly got 81 million legal votes. Why why would we even be having this conversation? Like,
why is it in question?
Don't you as a society, if you're out there in listener land right now, driving in your car or at your job or whatever you're doing, don't you start putting pieces of the puzzle together in which you say, okay, so we are led to believe that a guy got 81 million legal votes without campaigning, and that just
from his basement.
From his basement. That just the rallies he did have, there were like 6 people, all socially distanced in giant circles, and we're led to believe that it's just a coincidence that for the first time in American history, when there was mass mail-in unaccountable voting, that this guy happened to get 81 million legal votes. And then he does everything he said he was going to do in terms of growth of government and massive expansion of government and massive invasion of government in people's lives. And yet he has an approval rating of 39%. Mm-hmm. Don't you start putting puzzle pieces together and going, something isn't adding up here? And his own party, like there's all sorts of questions about should he run again? Will he run again? But he did everything he said he was going to do when he ran. Like, don't you just stop regardless of what political party you're in and go, wow, this all really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and people in his own party aren't endorsing him. It's not like, yes, he's running, it's going to be fantastic. No, it's like, well, if he says he's going to do it, then he's going to do it, and I'm going to do it again. 52% of people disapprove of him currently.
So Corinne Jean-Pierre was asked yesterday about this supposed Biden saying, I will run again, and she offered her usual very clear clarity on the topic.
Did the president tell Al Sharpton he's running? That clearly?
You love asking me, Sebastian. You love asking me about 2024.
Look, hey, Al, I'm running.
Here's what I will say.
I
know you want a clear answer. I know, but he's. If Al Sharpton says it, it's look,
It's what?
It's so funny. You always ask me about 2024. So here's what I can say, and the president has said this himself. He intends to run in 2024. As you know, I cannot weigh in on elections. I cannot speak to elections from here. We do truly follow and try to follow the Hatch Act here. But I will just reiterate what the president has said many times. What I have said many times is that the president intends to run.
At least she got the year right, because 4 days into this year, when Biden was begging us to get COVID shots and boosters, he said we should be optimistic about 2020, except it was 2022.
Cori Bush, and we're going to play a couple of pieces of Cori Bush audio today because she is the gift that keeps on giving. She is that lunatic leftist member of the squad from Missouri. She was on one of these talk shows, and she appears to not agree with the Biden decision to run again. Take a listen.
2024, is Biden the best candidate to represent Democrats, especially if it's a Donald Trump he's up against?
You know, he's our president right now. He has experience. He has qualifications. I won't say if he's best or if he's not. I'll just say this. He has the qualifications to run. I remember when people said, should I run? People said no. You know, so I can't say that. All I can say is if he chooses to run, then that will be the nominee.
She turned it around to make it about her pretty quickly. She went on to say if the president is the nominee, then he will be the person that we support. Even though she just said, I can't say whether he's the best or not, but if he runs, we're going to support him. By the way, she was on The View discussing her new book.
Oh, she has a new book out.
She does have a new book out.
Casey, I have a question for you.
Yes.
And it's half your show, but I texted you last night. There's something I really need to get off my chest. I had an interaction on the Townie Chatterboard last night.
Yeah.
And I feel like the world will be better for knowing the stupidity that I subjected myself to. I rarely get on the Townie Chatterboard anymore.
It was an exciting Tuesday night in Brownsburg.
And I was quickly reminded why I don't get on the Townie Chatterboard anymore. And I feel like once we discuss this, people will walk away with some life-altering life advice when it comes to voting in certain local elections this fall.
All right, we'll talk about that and the Bradys coming up from 93 WIBC.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and build that papier-mâché volcano.
I am not cleaning this up.
Ooh, yeah, I meant the kids. Staples will help them move forward. Right now, Crayola 10-count markers and 12-count colored pencils are just 99 cents each, and Staples 1-subject notebooks are only 35 cents. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 9/10, in-store only, limit 30.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
And now, the Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 Smart Bed is only $9.99, only for a limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
The Wall Street Journal reports home sales across the country are down on average 20% from this time last year. There is only one agent I would trust with selling my home during a market slowdown, and that is Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. With Mark Dietel, there are no required costly repairs. Pick your move date. Stay in your home after the sale, stress-free while you close your dream home. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Listen to what Bruce in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietel. It was finally time to downsize, and it was important to grab as much equity as possible. We were nervous as we heard the market was slowing. Mark assured us we could get the price we needed, and he delivered. We got multiple offers in a few weeks, and we sold for $20,000 over asking. Call the agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Mr. Crosley, your passion and enthusiasm for teaching history taught me valuable life lessons.
Like what, Carrie?
The importance of dedication, commitment, showing up every day. And those lessons helped me in the classroom and on the softball field. I'm Carrie Rosati, IHSAA Assistant Commissioner, and this is Pat Crosley, my mentor from Roncalli High School.
As an educator, I always care about the whole student, from their academic success to their character development to their athletic performance. That's why I love supporting students outside the classroom at athletic events.
It showed me you really cared about me as a person, not just as a student. Having devoted coaches and teachers like you taught me accountability and motivated me in both my schoolwork and athletics. I showed up every day because you did the same for me.
Thanks, Carrie. We can all support hardworking teachers and coaches by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is meaningful mentorship. This is life-changing leadership. This is your IHSAA.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Who they think may have killed him. It's sunny and 50 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:31. A student at Purdue is dead, and police have taken his roommate into custody. Varun Manish Chetta was reported dead by his roommate early this morning. Police got there, assessed the situation, and then took the roommate in. The cause of Chetta's death has not been said yet. Flooding caused significant damage when Hurricane Ian swept through Florida last week.
Never in my mind would I have imagined it would be this bad. And it came up so fast that people had very little time to get vehicles out.
That's John Carter, who lives in Geneva. President Biden travels to Florida later today to look at the damage for himself. Over 100 deaths attributed to the storm. An Iranian American held captive in Iran has finally been freed. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Bakr Namazi is safe in Oman today, having left Iran, where he's been held since his arrest in 2016 over spying charges. There had been increasing pressure to free him because of his poor health. Namazi is a former UNICEF official who served as governor of an Iranian province under the U.S.-backed Shah before his arrest. Both he and his 50-year-old son were sentenced to 10 years in prison on what the U.S. and UN say were trumped-up spying charges. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
And now the stock report. After a two-day rally, stocks are sharply declining today. The Dow was down 343 to 30,022. The Nasdaq down 146 to 11,494, and the S&P 500 down 43 to 3,760. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
Casey, I've made a declaration for the show today.
What's that?
It's Herman's Hermit Day on the show.
That's a fun song. Nice happy tune.
The reason we got into this is there was a person on the television who is a well-assembled person who I've told Kevin for the entire time we've worked together that I thought that those two, Kevin and this person, could be very happy together.
This local TV personality.
However, this person was wearing something that I did not feel was best for that person. And
you're giving fashion tips.
Well,
I love it.
You know, I'm a real fashionista, as you know. And then Kevin responded that this person looked like a silhouette.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, that's so funny you said that, because one of the great underappreciated songs in music history is the song Silhouettes, originally done by the Rays, I think, and then Herman's Hermits had the big hit version of that. It's a music, like everything else, Casey. The older, the better.
Yeah.
It's just everything is better when it was in black and white. That's why I'm so sad Aaron Judge broke
the record.
The Roger Maris's AL home run record, because everything was just better in black and white. And music is the same. Like how strong lyrics used to be in music, they don't hold a candle to it today. And Silhouettes is one of those songs. And I said, think of all the hits Herman's Hermits, once we got on that, actually have, including that one that we just played
from Naked Gun,
which one of the all-time great scenes in music history. That song is the backdrop to it, in which Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley are going on various, it's like a day out, they're going various dates across the greater Los Angeles area. And my favorite part of all of that is they come out of this movie theater laughing hysterically like they've just seen the greatest comedy of all time, and then the camera pans up and they went to see Platoon.
Platoon, yeah.
So
it reminds me of the Seinfeld scene. You were making out during Schindler's List. Inappropriate.
Yeah, so it's Herman's Hermits Day on the show today.
All right, so you were engaging in some interaction last night on the Townie Chatter board. Start talking.
So I used to do this all the time, in which I would almost every large community has what I refer to as the Townie Chatter board, like Carmel Chatter, Avon Chatter.
It's normally a Facebook group.
Right, Greenwood Chatter, Brownsburg Chatter, and Brownsburg has a couple of these different ones, and I used to engage in them all the time, but it's just too hard for me to do now, because whenever I comment on one of these topics, and yesterday was a reminder of this, it turns into an inevitable 10 million people want to like it because whatever I've said is so brilliant, and then 10 million people want to fight with me because, well, they hate my very existence.
Because you're you.
And it takes the focus off the thing in question. It turns in the ability to fight with me. But the topic in question, it blew my mind, and I am reminded how many stupid, ridiculous people are out there, and why we as a society, as it relates to public office and government, we are completely screwed, because it was a reminder of how people will defend literally everything and anything and the behavior of the office holder if they agree with their politics. So it comes back to yesterday when we played that clip of Caitlin Flanagan from The Atlantic admitting to Bill Maher, Biden's totally lost his marbles. There's nothing there anymore. Comparing him to a grandparent you would take the car keys away from. But
He's the commander-in-chief, and we're going to support him 100%.
I love his liberalism.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah.
This is not as serious as that, but it's the same thing. So there are, like in Brownsburg, and like in many communities, there are several school board races this year.
Yeah, and we're going to talk with someone from Zionsville later in the show.
Yes, because we have said the school board races are so important because of the ineptitude and the cowardice of the Indiana Republican Party. They do not force candidates. Only office, Casey, where you don't have to declare
what party you are affiliated with.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You got to declare a party to be the coroner. You got to declare a party to be the surveyor. You got to declare a party to be the recorder.
Yeah, I don't even know what the recorder does.
Neither does the recorder. What the hell does politics have to do with being a coroner or surveyor or recorder? You have to declare there. The only one you don't?
School board.
School board.
Yeah.
And you know why that is? Because the teachers union in this state is so powerful, and the Republican Party is made up of such cowards that they know, and the teachers union knows, and they bully the Republican Party in this state. The teachers union knows if these leftist lunatics who are on school boards in these communities across central Indiana had to declare a party, there's no way they'd ever get elected.
Right.
But because they're so strong and the Republicans are so weak, they've carved out this special exception for one office where you don't have to declare. And as such, it's made it very hard for people to know what's going on and how these people actually view and what they actually think, which is by design. So we've said, hey, we're going to have these, school board candidates on. So there is one of the two contested races in Brownsburg in which one of the incumbent, her name is Jessica Heffernan. And she is a total lefty who, again, if she had to put a letter next to her name, would never get elected in Brownsburg. One of the people in the community put her attendance record out for the community to see. That's public record. You can look at it. You can whatever. Guy just said, here's the attendance record. Here's all the meetings this person has been late to or missed. The attendance is so bad that even Nigel would be like, wow, you really need to do a better job of showing up to work. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, this will be interesting to see what the comments are on this, because the number one job, and we talked about this when Todd Young missed his key vote on the federal judge.
Right, because he was over at Purdue.
Yeah, he's playing grab ass with the governor, promoting the CHIPS bill.
Doing the photo op.
And he abandoned his job, which is to vote, to go promote himself at Purdue. The number one job you have as an elected official is to show up. Unless you are dying or a member of your family is on a deathbed, you need to be at the regularly scheduled meetings. And school board is super easy. Like a town council or a city council, super easy. At the first of the year, here's the meeting schedule. School board, unlike municipal government offices, there's only one meeting a month. Municipal government, there's usually 2, sometimes 3. School board, super easy. Like, you have one meeting a month to make it to. And so I thought, when your attendance record is as porous as Jessica Heffernan's is, I'll be fascinated to see when that is put out there, the response of people, because it is indefensible to not show up. And I say this for any candidate. It is absolutely indefensible to not show up unless you are on death's door or your immediate family is also about to kick the bucket. If you don't want to show up, then don't run.
Right.
Don't do it. If there's things that are more important, those school board meetings are super boring. I totally understand. Don't do it. What is interesting, though, is she's almost always super reliable when the third vote is needed to pass some super liberal thing like SEL or whatever. It's amazing. She doesn't have anything big going on those days, most of the time. So the point is, I thought, okay, this will be interesting to see. It'll be an interesting
reaction,
evaluation of how partisan we are as a society, because attendance is absolutely something that it is black and white, right? I would think every person would expect their local elected official to show up to the job they told society they wanted to have.
Right.
And yet, Casey, I found that people, if they agree with their politics, will stretch to any ends of the earth in order to excuse the behavior. And it was things like, well, she's a single mother and her kids have a lot going on, and she had a lot going on during the COVID. So did everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's great that she's a good single mom. But what the hell does that have to do with not showing up to the office that you told the public, I desperately want this position School boards are responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars. They're responsible for the information that is fed to children every single day. I understand that there are single mothers and fathers who have a lot going on. You know what they don't do? They don't run for school board or other public offices, town councils, city councils, whatever, because they can't make the meetings. And so I'm reading these comments, and of course I made the egregious mistake of pointing out some obvious things, and then it, as everything does when I get involved, it turned into a fight against me versus the thing in question. But I was just watching that thinking, we are so partisan now. We are so wed to our ideologies that we are not even willing to demand, in this case, that people show up.
Accountability.
And we will defend people not showing up because we know when the rubber meets the road and the votes that air quote count, that person will be there to vote the way we want them to vote. The nuts and bolts and the other things they miss and the unaccountability to the taxpayer, same thing with Todd Young going to play grab ass with Holcomb at Purdue. There are people who will excuse that because they like what his politics are or the things he will represent or the special interest that he will benefit. We are totally lost as a society. We are so far gone now that when people don't show up to work, there are still people who will go, it's okay. You never tolerate that at your job. Like if you owned a business and somebody did that, you never tolerate it. If you were a coworker with somebody who did that and you had to make up the work for them, you would never tolerate it. But when it comes to partisan politics, we will excuse anything.
And defend it for ideology. So let me ask you this question, Rob. Oh, we're going way long on this.
That's okay.
Let me ask you this question because for years and years and years, I was involved with different schools.
Yes.
Right? The volunteer parent. And it seemed to me that the pool of parents was always the same.
Yes.
It was always that group
Yeah.
of a couple dozen, and it was the same moms and the same dads who did everything.
Yes.
And it was always like hard getting somebody else to come in and can somebody else get involved? Do you think that that's the case there with your school board in Brownsburg, that they're defending her because nobody else is stepping up?
And we're going to ask Tim Hart about this, who's running for Zionsville School Board later on in the show, because there's these issues are at a lot of places. And maybe not the specific issue, but they're similar issues. I think the issue with school board is the school community is the most cliquish club there is because it's usually affluent or well-served parents and children who know each other for a long time, either through sports or clubs or the smarter kids. That's whose parents tend to get involved. And the problem with that is people then vote on, oh, I know Janie, she's Susie's mom, and Janie made cupcakes for Susie's soccer team. So Susie really wants to be involved, she really wants to be involved. And so why wouldn't we want her on the school board? Well, the difference is, well, whichever name I use, Janie or Susie, I forget who is what.
Right.
The mother, let's call her Susie, while she may be involved, she's an involved lunatic. And there's a difference between making cupcakes or providing juice boxes and being in charge of hundreds of millions of dollars of other people's money and the actual curriculum that gets fed into your kid's head every single day. And people don't separate that. And it's weird with school board that they won't do that. Well, I know Sally. She has been a volunteer for years and years and years. Yeah, she's a lunatic volunteer. She may be a nice person, but her politics suck. And school board is the one, because you don't have to declare a party, where people don't know how to properly vet who these candidates are, which is why they're on the school boards.
Yeah, and which is why we're doing a little bit of the vetting for everybody. And it's Tim Hart we're going to talk to from Zionsville later in the show. Okay, we didn't get to the Bradys this break. We're going to get to them next break on 93 WIBC.
Oh, big Hammer and Nigel show coming up later on today. The crazy coupon lady, Casey Daniels, and a lot more to get to. We're going to have a good time. 93 WIBC.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Introducing Spectrum One. Get Spectrum Internet with speeds of 300 megabits per second. Advanced Wi-Fi with best-in-class security and privacy. Spectrum Mobile with unlimited talk, text, and data plus nationwide 5G. Get it all with Spectrum One. Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and one line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for only $49.99 a month. Visit Spectrum.com or a Spectrum store today. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Do you need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help. While others are talking about rising interest rates, we are lowering ours.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 5.75% fixed?
Don't get stuck paying the minimum payments on credit cards. The average homeowner has over $60,000 in equity. You deserve to put that cash to work for you.
Our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month. Call 317-706-GOLD for your free mortgage checkup.
Inflation shouldn't win. Our low mortgage rates and your equity make you the winner. And remember, if we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 5.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 5.75% fixed. 6.991% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
I'm your toilet, and we need to talk. It's been 10 years since the Roto-Rooter man tuned me up. Yet I just sit here and take your... Remember your cookout? Those Cajun deviled eggs you picked up from the gas station? I was the most popular seat in the house. Not anymore. We're finished.
Sometimes things just quit. So make sure to call the company that doesn't. Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Water Cleanup. Yeah, we do both.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yup, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
I'm glad we did this today.
Herman's Hey, I want to say good morning to the world's owner who is listening to us on the YouTube channel. Listening from Fort Myers, Florida.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you have power enough to listen. If you'd like to join us on YouTube, all you have to do is type in Kendall and Casey WIBC into the YouTube search bar. And you can also stream us on the iHeart streaming platform.
There is an issue with the WIBC app. Whoever is in charge of that knows that it's going on.
We're working on it.
So in the meantime, you can head over to YouTube. You can head over to iHeart app, and you can listen to the show online. So if you have, I know some people have called the voicemail, etc. Tell your friends if they're having issues that those are the two ways. Plus, you get to see my fabulous haircut and Casey's fabulous haircut.
And if you're just driving down 465 listening on the old traditional radio, well, we appreciate that too. Let's talk about those Bradys.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
Yeah.
Who was bringing up three very lovely
So
girls.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen seem to be heading for the end zone. Both of them have retained divorce lawyers. They've been living separately for the past couple months. This is following an epic fight that they had, Rob.
I'm torn on this,
They're now
Casey.
looking to divide up their multi-million-dollar empire.
Yeah, I'm torn on this because on one hand, it is a disagreement between two people or alleged disagreement, I guess. They're, may not be having some sort of issues. And they've got kids. And so those things, I'm a big proponent that your family life should be off limits. On the other hand, they have made, especially her, obviously he too, but especially her, has made money off look at me, care about me, care about my personal life, want to be me, women want to be me, men want to be with me, sort of thing. Brady has too, to an extent, although his is primarily his ability to perform on a football field. Part of hers is her look, is her appearance, is you want to know who the celebrities are dating, whatever. And so I guess maybe, as I say it out loud, maybe they're in the same stew together in that sense. So part of when you make money off people caring about you, you give up certain things because you are profiting off people caring about you. So you can't on one hand say, well, we've made hundreds of millions of dollars off people caring about us, but then we desperately want our privacy at this point in our existence. So you really do, I guess, kind of give that up if you're that magnitude of celebrity where you've made hundreds of millions of dollars off telling people to look at you.
Well, I think it's a point of we love the drama, for one, and we live vicariously through them. It's a bit of a escapism, right? And it's nice to know that even with their stunning looks and their colossal loads and piles of money, that they have issues too.
Yeah.
And doesn't that make you feel maybe a little bit better about yourself? It's just like when Tom Brady said, I'm 45, I got a lot of stuff going on, right? Like if he is that successful and he's a world champion, Super Bowl famous quarterback, loads of money, married to a beautiful model, he's got the kids, and yet they have issues, okay, my life doesn't suck so bad.
People would be amazed, and you've interviewed many celebrities too, so I know you know this, that when you actually meet these people in person, you realize they are just people, right? We almost think of like celebrities, people you see on the big screen, athletes, whatever, almost like they're holograms and not even real. And then once you get to see them up close and realize they are real people, they just have more money than you. They just have more fame than you. They have the same. They are human, and as such of being human, they are fallible people with problems just like everyone else.
Yeah, and on the other side, when they're not struggling and everything is wonderful and successful, it's the fairy tale we aspire to have. So it's relatable when it's bad, and then when it's great, it's you tend to look up to them. Now, you asked the question, is this the most famous couple of all time?
Yes, like when you take both of them, Brady and Giselle, and put them together, one individual may be more famous than Tom Brady, or one individual may be more famous than Giselle, but when you put the two of them together in their star power, are they the most famous collective couple of all time?
Well, I'm going to throw out a couple more for you to ponder.
All right.
One would be Benifer. I mean, they had a nickname.
Good point.
Right. Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, they're back together again. Charles and Diana. Ricky and Lucy. Bill and Hillary. Beyonce and Jay-Z. Cleopatra and Mark Anthony. And the most famous of all, Rob Kendall, and I'm surprised you haven't thought of this one, Mary and Joseph.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Inspired by your strength and a balanced approach to women's health. Inspired by creation and all the joy you bring into this world. We're inspired to deliver the best care for every stage of a woman's life. At Franciscan Women's Health, we're inspired by you. To learn more, visit franciscanhealth.org/women's care. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule that complete health assessment at the Low T Center. They offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center, or you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started. Only your first 2 visits are in person. LowTCenter.com. Book now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song? It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately. Like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box, all for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. New Gigabit Extra internet customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply. Requires compatible gateway.
When treating patients with cancer, there's no such thing as too much teamwork. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, your circle of support includes a team of multiple specialists working together to treat your specific type of cancer. There's no better way to put together a treatment plan, and there's no other place to get this level of care in the region. Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate painting year after year, do what your neighbor Edwina did. She called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Murder in a college dorm may be the case at Purdue. John Herrick reports coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
It is not what President Biden wanted. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A big cut in global oil production reportedly agreed to this morning by OPEC Plus countries, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. A 2 million barrel a day reduction, according to Reuters.
Despite considerable efforts from the White House to stop it, not least of them Biden's fist bump with the Saudi crown prince last summer, which apparently was not worth its price in political capital. And top officials evidently had no luck dissuading the Saudis last month in a trip to the region. The White House also reportedly asked the Treasury Secretary to tell Gulf state finance ministers that the impact would be disastrous for the global economy.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. This could keep gas prices rising. They've gone up almost every day the past 2 weeks, gaining 16 cents after dropping from the $5 a gallon record high. AAA's national average for regulars back up to $3.83 this morning. The president will leave this hour and head to Florida, going to Fort Myers to see for himself the destruction Hurricane Ian caused, but he won't see all of it. Flooding stretches far inland and north. Fox's Steve Harrigan's in Arcadia.
1 week in, that struggle continues here in DeSoto County. About 35,000 people still stuck in water that officials say is going to be around at least another week. Trapped by 20 inches of rain, homes, cars, all disappearing underneath that water. No deaths reported here.
Ian, though, is blamed for more than 100 deaths, most of them in Florida. A Republican Senate candidate under scrutiny in Georgia, Herschel Walker, keeps denying a report that he paid a girlfriend in the past to get an abortion. Walker is pro-life and tells Fox,
whoever is doing this is, it's not true. It's a lie.
Right.
And right now, that's the reason I say I'm going to fight.
The polls show that Walker is in a close race, trying to unseat Democrat Raphael Warnock as the GOP tries to win control of the now 50-50 Senate in the midterm elections. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Killed in a residence hall. It's sunny and 54 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A student at Purdue University found dead this morning.
And police are investigating it as a homicide. I'm John Herrick. Purdue police say the call came in after midnight, and they discovered that the roommate of Varun Chedda shot and killed Chedda inside McCutcheon Hall, which is on the west side of the campus. The roommate has been arrested. Chedda was from Indianapolis and was just 20 years old. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Several shootings in Indianapolis Tuesday evening. A man, Dwight Berryhill, 21 years old, was killed in one of those shootings along Tacoma Street. Another one of those shootings had several rounds pumped into a car with a child inside.
Multiple rounds were fired into that vehicle. Then the vehicle collided with another vehicle in a pretty devastating car accident. And that child was not injured in that.
Major Mike Leeper with IMPD. Then early this morning, a man was shot and killed near the state fairgrounds. Two former Huntington University cross-country and track runners are suing the school in federal court, saying that they were doped, sexually assaulted, and raped by a coach. They also say school leaders and other coaches allowed the abuse to happen. Former coach Nick Johnson and current coach Lauren Johnson, his wife, are both named in the lawsuit. A debate between two congressional candidates in northern Indiana.
I believe our government is receiving too much at this point and needs to be limited. There's a lot of fat that can be trimmed.
Libertarian candidate William Henry talking about ways to deal with inflation. He debated the subject with Democratic candidate Paul Surrey last night. Not present was Roddy Yakim, the Republican chosen to replace the late Congresswoman Jackie Walorski on the ballot for the GOP. He declined to invite the event. Walorski was killed in a car wreck earlier this year. There are new visitor restrictions in place at Riley Hospital for Children. This comes as a rise in pediatric respiratory cases has been going around, including RSV and rhinovirus. The hospital says that they've had 76 kids diagnosed with RSV in the last 2 weeks. To prevent the spread of the illness, Riley is no longer allowing anyone under the age of 18 to visit. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 5th, and trending this hour, the Bradys. Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, their hunt for divorce lawyers has actually run much deeper than previously reported. This is coming from TMZ. They say it's been in the works for weeks, and as things stand right now, the marriage is beyond saving. And on the heels of that, also trending, Zachary Wilson. A picture has gone around the internet of him, and it's tagged with what looks like to be a tweet of Zachary Wilson saying, "Don't worry, Gisele, I got you."
Okay, so...
Don't know if that's real or not.
Well, I'm sure it is not real, but why that is funny for people who may not remember or didn't know, Zach Wilson is the quarterback for the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. He became famous. He was drafted last year. I think he was a second overall pick. He became famous because his mother, a lot of people mistook her for his girlfriend during draft night. And then allegedly, Zach Wilson was
dating one of his mom's friends.
Casey, I don't think there was a lot of dating going on. I think
I'm trying to be nice.
They were getting exercise together with one of his mother's friends, and so obviously with Gisele supposedly being back on the market and being an older woman, at least compared to Zach Wilson,
they were dancing.
Right.
They were dancing the Posturepedic polka and the Sealy shuffle. Also trending is chess. American chess sensation has been accused of cheating dozens of times, more than previously reported. This is this guy who has won a lot of tournaments under questionable circumstances of how he was winning. And now they're saying it's not the first time he's been doing this.
It does make you have pause. I was thinking about this yesterday. It does make you have pause because almost anything great that happens,
you have to question
in society. Because, you mentioned this chess thing, Lance Armstrong. Certainly, as it relates to sport, the home run record, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. There's very few things in which someone blows past what has previously been, a level of greatness in something, especially as it relates to sports or whatever, and it's on the up and up. At least that's the way it seems. I'm sure there's lots of things that do happen where you go, oh, that was totally legitimate, but wow, it just seems like people take a lot of shortcuts.
8 minutes after 10, it is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Elon Musk has agreed to move forward with his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. Aesop's Fables.
This is an example.
Gonna do it, not gonna do it. Gonna do it, not gonna do it.
This is an example of someone finally listening to their attorneys who probably told him this from the beginning. And I think as this thing moved forward, it became more of a realization to the client, you're going to lose this case. You're going to humiliate yourself. You're going to be able to be deposed. And when you get deposed, there's all sorts of things you can ask people about. There are some restrictions related to it. But you're going to lose this case. And with the money and potential shame that could be brought to you, is this really worth it to you? Because you're going to end up having to pay for this company anyway. And ultimately, I think that's why Elon decided to pull the plug.
So you're going to lose money. Instead of doing that, just buy the platform. So when the announcement of this came up, the shares of Twitter surged. They shot up 12%. And then by the end of the day yesterday, they were up 22%. So wouldn't it be something? I mean, this guy, he does this all the time, Rob. He'll turn a loss into a victory. I mean, he's going to overpay for Twitter, but watch, he'll turn it around and it'll be the biggest social media platform ever.
Well, this is what's going to be interesting, is Elon Musk has made a lot of money, but a lot of it also, the money that he's made has been off government-related subsidies and help from the government. Okay, that's a fact, that Elon Musk has profited greatly off government benefits to the company, obviously Tesla, front and center. How will he do that without government help? Because clearly, especially given the makeup of the government now, they got no interest in Twitter being a free speech platform because the Democrat Party is wholly invested in stifling free speech on these various applications. It will also be interesting to see, because he's going to have to make money, he's going to have to make marked changes to the platform, and I think that will be both good and bad. One, good, it will clearly be based on let's get as many people on this platform as we possibly can, because that's how we will be benefited by advertising. But two, what will he have to do to the experience that will commercialize the experience that may agitate people who are already enjoying it as is?
Well, plus he's going to have to get rid of all of the bots. But you're talking about how he was just days away from Tesla going bankrupt, right? And this happened a few times, and in the last minute he turned around, some of it with government assistance. So if Twitter does become a winner, it's going to be all on him.
It is easier. I'm not saying what he has done is easy. Elon Musk is a brilliant guy, but his primary level of what separates him from everybody else is his marketing ability. He is the modern day P.T. Barnum, and a big part of what great marketers do is they allow you to envision what could be. Donald Trump became president because people could envision, as wild and wacky as it sounded, as the Apprentice guy being president, you could see a world in which Trump was president and the things he would do as president. It's what great marketers do. Elon Musk is going to struggle here because he was operating in a world in which he knew what the government wanted, and he could be at the forefront knowing the government will manipulate behavior through incentives, tax policies, whatever, to get people to do stuff. And he was able to create in Tesla a product that was at the forefront of what he knew the government would lead people down a path towards. He doesn't have that benefit here with Twitter. He's going to have to, in many ways, nuts and bolts market and build this thing because it is what it is when he bought it versus Tesla, which is something he made from scratch. So it'll be very fascinating to see how he does with Twitter.
Yeah, and he's going to have to do it with a big staff turnaround because a lot of them are not happy about the possibility of working for Elon Musk. So this one, if and when, and I still, it's been flip-flopping for so long now. If and when it happens, it's going to be on Elon. It's 12 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and let's talk about this paycheck to paycheck. Almost everyone has felt the sting of rising prices, and now a new report says that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Boy, that's a large number, Rob. It's 40-year high inflation. A year ago, the numbers of adults who felt that they were stretched too thin was 55%. So now we're up to 60%.
A big part of this is what Biden has done and then the Republicans before him in terms of the government spending, the bribing of the shutdown of society, the driving of inflation, all these things that we've talked about. But a big part of this, too, also is the behavior of Americans because we never force anyone to do anything. We are a professional safety net society. I mean, think about, just look here in Indiana and the Healthy Indiana program. And we've talked about this many times before, in which people who are able-bodied people who do make real money, who do in many cases make as much or more than you and I do, but because of the way they make their money and the way the reporting requirements that are associated with reporting that money can get insurance for $10 or $20 a month that is a better insurance plan than what you or I have. And it is set up so that no matter what you do in our society, someone will always be there to catch you and hold you and say, I love you. It's going to be just fine no matter what behavior you have done or continue to do that contribute to your problem. And this is another example of this. There is no reason that people in America should be living paycheck to paycheck. It is not that hard to constrain your lifestyle and or find a second job that you would not have to do this. But we are a society in which people have been, it's a Pavlov's dog thing, right? It has been ingrained in people that if you fail, someone will save you. If you have an emergency, someone will pull you out of that fire. And so as such, we have people who it has just been hammered into their brain, you can do whatever you want, and when you get in trouble, someone else will take care of it.
Don't need to save for a rainy day. Well, it's shocking that they're saying that people that are earning six figures, 45% of those people are living paycheck to paycheck. You make six figures, and you're living paycheck to paycheck.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
Learn how to budget.
It is. But these are people who have outstretched themselves on their homes, on their cars, on the lifestyle, on the dinners, on the
living beyond their means. Stop doing that.
Look, people, I've spent my entire life owning a small business and much of it around radio and media. If I can figure out how to not live paycheck to paycheck, you can and should have to do it as well.
Well, I'm afraid it's going to get worse, though, before it gets better, because in January, 60% may be looking pretty good because we've got winter coming. Heating costs are going to go up. That's going to crush a lot of people. And in every quarter this year, the government has collected record taxes. So the government has never had more money in the history of the nation than they do right now.
We don't have a we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. But the problem is because people are so dumbed down by the public education system, they don't understand this. They're not interested in thinking it through. They don't have to, because we have told them no matter what happens, you will not be profoundly impacted.
Yeah, you'll be okay. 317-684-8444. That is the phone number if you'd like to leave a voicemail for Rob or I. And we're going to hear from you next from 93 WIBC.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
And now we have a crash southbound 69 and 96th Street. Traffic absolutely soul crushing.
When you need to get from here
Crashes on the east side, south side,
to there.
north side, crashes everywhere. An absolute car apocalypse today in the Circle City.
Matt Bear.
Delays, and when I say delays, I mean stop traffic continues to build.
Mornings and afternoons.
So you're going to want to change your reroute. In fact, I'll tell you right
93 WIBC.
The Wall Street Journal reports home sales across the country are down an average of 20% from this time last year. There's only one agent I would trust with selling my home during a market slowdown, and that is Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. With Mark Dietel, there are no required costly repairs. Pick your move date. Stay in your home after the sale stress-free while you close your dream home. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Listen to what Bruce and Carol in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietel. It was finally time to downsize, and it was important to us to grab as much equity as possible. We were nervous as we heard the market was slowing. Mark assured us we could get the price we needed, and he delivered. We got multiple offers in a few weeks, and we sold for $20,000 over asking. Call the agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me. You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
20 minutes after 10 is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. I was wondering if you were going to stay thematic, Kevin, with the Hermits.
No, I couldn't find any songs that
about
tied into the theme.
Phone calls.
This is the perfect song for this segment. It literally is a song about an answering machine, and it's Rupert Holmes, who's the pina colada guy.
And it makes Rob happy, and that's what's most important for me.
Little things.
For you. For you.
Little things. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
I was just going to give out the phone number.
Yes.
If anybody wanted to call and leave a message, we love hearing from you. 317-684-8444.
Okay, so voicemails today. Yesterday, we covered the fact that Biden claimed, I guess, as growing up, he was a part of the Puerto Rican community, and we tried to do the math on it, and we pondered how many Puerto Rican people of Puerto Rican descent or heritage could even be in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and somebody did the research for us.
Hey, this is Steve. I just checked my phone. The Puerto Rican population of Scranton, Pennsylvania is 2.2%.
So luckily, Joe Biden, in an area in which the population is 2.2%, grew up in, as a white man, the Puerto Rican community.
Right. He grew up in the Puerto Rican political community.
Yes.
2.2%. Okay.
We also got a call. Kevin and I agreed, and Kevin is a musician, and so he is the resident expert on this, that the best part of any concert is the open when your favorite artist takes the stage, and there is no feeling quite like
here it goes.
When you have not seen your favorite artist for 2 or 3 years, time in between tours, and you see them initially walk on stage and they're smiling and they're happy and the roar of the crowd, and that is, no matter what else happens the rest of the concert, that is, or at least it should be, the ultimate experience for you.
Yeah.
Some guy got really upset about that.
Oh.
The reason that when you go to a concert, the best part is the beginning is because everybody you go to see is elderly. If you go to a young person's concert, you might have a little bit of fun. By young, I mean anybody below 60. And as for John Cougar, the reason Clive Davis wouldn't sign him was due to the fact that he was basically a Bruce Springsteen cover band. Duh. That's why it didn't sound good. Then he got hits after he got away from that crap.
Casey, every so often we have to step back on this show and just pose the question to our audience. Imagine being that person.
So was he directing that comment to you about the old people show?
I think so.
Yeah. Because, I'm going to see Viagra Boys, and they're not old.
Yeah.
I usually see bands under the age of like 40 at least.
And you will feel the same way seeing the Viagra Boys as what we described, which is the best moment is when they first come on the stage.
You know, he does have a point, though, because the last concert I saw, I'm trying to think about it, it was Old Dominion, which is a country band. And it wasn't when they came out on stage. It was when they were playing their hits and dancing there in the park. And
country music's not a real thing, Casey.
Yeah, it's its own.
You ever been to a country music concert? Clearly you have. That's not a real
I had a good
thing.
time. They have a lot of hits. They have a lot of country hits.
Just one more thing to add. I did see Rick Springfield at the State Fair.
Yes.
Maybe this was probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, he was an older guy. And when he walked out, I only knew his one song, Jesse's Girl. And it was still, it was an electric.
Yes, Dr. Noah
experience.
Drake. He's phenomenal. We love Rick Springfield. No, that is absolutely. I've been to many what I guess you would call younger people concerts over the years, and that is absolutely true. That at almost every concert, the best moment is when that the lights go down, the stage light pops on. I was once. Had the misfortune of going to multiple Taylor Swift concerts. It's the same way there. That's how it works. It's a concert because the concert itself almost never lives up to the expectation you have set forth for it. So that moment is the best moment.
Exactly.
He mentioned Clive Davis, and let me tell you a quick Clive Davis story. He holds an annual party before the Grammys every year.
Is he Columbia Records? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, he was Columbia Records.
Yeah, and every year he holds this party, and if you get invited to it, you are very special.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
Is he really?
But to get into, he's getting up there, but to get into the party, you're not allowed to bring in a cell phone, and they lock the doors. Once you get in, it's like once everybody's in, they lock the doors.
Keys in the bowl sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he is alive, 90 years old, by the way. And it was, Columbia Records. Then we got a lot of people fired up about John Mellencamp, man. That really got people going on the phones, and I guess he's Indiana's own. A little advice from one of our listeners about John Mellencamp.
Tell Kendall that Mellencamp and Springsteen have a few songs out. He needs to listen to those.
Have a few what?
Songs.
Oh, a few songs.
Now, if this person had listened to the previous incarnation of this time slot when it was me and the woman.
We'll ask Greg Garrison what her name is.
When Mock and I had the show together, that song came out last year. That they did, the collaboration those two did together, and we spent a lot of time on it. The main song that they did together, they got all the airplay, was Wasted Days. It is absolutely phenomenal. I described it at the time. It was like a fantasy pairing that you thought would never happen. And we'll play a little bit of it for you now.
How much sorrow is there left to climb? How many promises are worth the time? Who on earth is worth our time? Is there a heart here that I can call mine? Well,
sounds nice.
Two old guys who can't sing. It's phenomenal. I loved every second of it.
That sounds like a song that like TTS would play or something.
Yeah, my true story. So my dear friend Troy Kennett plays keys for Mellencamp. Troy's one of the most phenomenal local musicians who has ever lived. He's great. I hope he is going out on this next tour with them. He played, I guess the way they did that was they put the music track of that song together, and then Bruce flew into Seymour, didn't fly into Seymour, but flew into Indiana and then went to Seymour, and they recorded his part with that. So I guess Troy had already recorded his portion of that. He did not know Springsteen was going to be included in that, and then just got a text from one of the engineers or whatever, a picture going, look who's playing on our song.
Right, yeah.
There he is.
Oh, it was a nice song. I don't think it got a whole lot of radio play.
It did not. It should have, but, people are entitled to not do good radio if they want to.
Rob loves those deep cuts.
I'd love because what do you hear on radio all the time? It's the same damn songs over and over and over again. Yes!
Yes, that's what radio stations do. They appeal to the masses.
For the lazy, uneducated, unthinking listener, yes, I understand. We serve it up to the masses, but there are so many great songs off these albums that never got exposure because people are lazy and they don't want to think and they don't want to put the effort into it, and it really bugs me. And now we got to take a break, but everybody should stay tuned because Kurt Darling has the news, and that's awesome, and that's a thinking man's thing too, and that's coming up next.
It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Denny Smith for Sundown Gardens. The big fall sale is on until October 16th at Sundown Gardens. That means 20% off container trees and shrubs and 30% off all bald and burlapped evergreen and shade trees. The Kids Zone with the pumpkin launch is open every Saturday through Halloween weekend. Check out their 10 fall picture stations for photos with a family. Look up Sundown Gardens on Facebook and Instagram. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, just west of Grand Park. SundownGardens.com. That's SundownGardens.com.
Are you looking for a local John Deere dealer in the Indianapolis area to serve your commercial and compact construction equipment needs? The folks at Koenig Equipment say, turn to us. Their full line of John Deere skid steers, track loaders, front loaders, and mini excavators, combined with their team of product experts and certified service techs, make Koenig your premier John Deere dealer.
Stop by one of their 6 convenient Indiana locations or visit KoenigEquipment.com today. That's KoenigEquipment.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Who they say killed him. It's sunny and 57 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. A Purdue student killed in his dorm room. A Purdue University Police Chief Leslie Wheat.
As of now, the charges are murder. That is the only charge we have on our suspect.
And she says that's the charge against Ji Min Shah, a junior at Purdue and an international student from Korea. Wheat says that they believe he killed Varun Manish Chetta, a 20-year-old from Indianapolis. Wheat could not say how Chetta was killed. President Biden will travel to Florida later today to look at damage from Hurricane Ian. The White House saying that Biden will be getting a briefing from Governor Ron DeSantis and other experts managing recovery efforts. The Republican governor has praised the federal government's response since the Category 4 storm made landfall last week and flattened homes all along the west coast of Florida before moving across the state. It's been chillier lately as we get further into fall, but on Friday it's expected to get even colder.
It'll be a little breezy behind the cold front with winds around gusting to around 25 miles per hour, but the main story is how cold it might be.
Matt Etkoff with the National Weather Service says highs are only expected to be in the mid-50s and temperatures could dip into the low 40s for high school football games that night. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet security and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Imagine being able to pay off all your credit cards and maybe even missing a few months of mortgage payments. Learn more about a simple cash out refinance today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Today, my love has gone away. The bottle stands full.
Our Vice President and the White House migration czar, Kamala Harris, is heading to Texas. Hey, how about a round of applause for the migration czar going to Texas? Guess what? She's not going to the border. No. She is set to headline a big bucks Texas Democratic Party fundraiser. She'll be in Austin. And this is 5 weeks ahead of the midterm elections. There are currently no plans for her to go to the border. She's been slammed for remaining silent about this, and it's just not happening. And from the What in the World is Kamala Saying, we like to go to this folder a lot. We have another one. We have another one of her talking about equity.
Yes.
As she's talking about equity, I would like for you to keep in mind that the suggested donations for her dinner at the Texas Democratic Party fundraiser range from $250 to $10,000.
Oh, wow. That's not cheap.
That's not equitable.
That
either.
is not equitable. No, I agree. And let's play a little of Kamala's thoughts on equity. And Casey, you tell me what I'm supposed to make of this.
Okay.
So let's deal with that disconnect, which we also refer to as disparities, because we see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. And that's why we talk about equity, because we recognize not everybody starts out on the same base. They don't start out in the same place, even though they have the same God-given capacity. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity.
What did she say? Casey, what did she say?
She said something about being guided by spirits in the interest of equity.
Okay, here. Look, if we are going to talk about equity, if we're going to have this conversation, can we at least start with, this is my only request, if we're going to do equity, can we at least start with making it so that I, a middle-class person, no longer have to have my taxes raised on the food and beverages I buy every single year so that Jim Irsay, a multi-billionaire, can have a stadium for free?
Yes.
Look, I will believe we are serious about the equity conversation when poor and middle class people no longer have to pay for a multi-billionaire to have a stadium. Then I will believe that we are concerned about equity in this country.
She was also talking about hurricane relief and how that's going to be directed to minorities first.
Yes.
And then she was questioned about that, and somebody said, and women. And she, oh, yes, and women too.
They just make it up as they go along.
And then, of course, the White House was rolling that back because that's not equitable.
Can we talk about Ron DeSantis for a second?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a new poll out. It literally just came out. And again, polling's but a snapshot of a moment in time. But it is a Mason-Dixon polling strategy. Showed that DeSantis is up 11 points on Charlie Crist. Now, I've told you, one, this is going to happen. And I told you the magic number for him to run for president is 5. If he wins Florida by 5 or more, it is a mandate to the Republican Party that I can be a conservative, a vocal conservative, an adamant person on the side of liberty and freedom, and I can bring it home in a swing state, and he should absolutely become the immediate front runner for president of the United States if he indeed wins by 5 or more. Now, this poll says he's up 11. I'm not sure I believe he's going to win by 11, but it is a clear... what all the polls are showing, because every poll shows him up by a variety of margin. The people in Florida like liberty and freedom. They like being able to make choices for themselves. You lived there. You can speak to this. You lived there during COVID.
Yeah.
And here is another great example of what we're talking about, in which so the CNN reporter tries to get cute with him during, in regards to his hurricane response.
I want to ask you, that poll, was that taken before or after the hurricane?
Well, it said it was released today, so I would assume it was released after the hurricane.
Okay.
Or at least maybe during the hurricane, because typically, they try to get these things out within days of getting results. The hurricane was obviously a week ago now.
Right. It was a week ago today.
Okay. It does not say.
Made landfall.
Yeah, it does not say when the poll was conducted. So the point is, what we talk about with DeSantis is his ability to never waver, his ability to not take crap from the media, and yet he owns them and puts people and the media in a place, in a way in which you walk away feeling good and go, oh my gosh, he didn't comment about someone's weight or their face.
Right. He's not judging how they look, their appearance. He's not name calling. He's just kind of straight to the point. CNN was trying to... it felt like it was almost they were trying to do a gotcha.
They were
moment.
because they were talking about why people were not forced to evacuate. And he basically said, look, I cannot pull someone out of their home if they don't want to go. And he said, everybody thought it was Tampa, which is why you, the media, were in Tampa. And we went by the same thing that everybody else and all the hurricane forecasters went with. And we still told the people who weren't in Tampa, be aware, get out, but I'm not dragging people out of their home. Listen how he turns this around on this woman. It's great.
Why do you stand behind Lee County's decision to not have that mandatory evacuation until the day before the storm?
Well, where was your industry station when the storm hit? Were you guys in Lee County? No, you were in Tampa. So that's, they were following the weather track, and they had to make decisions based on that. But, 72 hours, they weren't even in the cone. 48 hours, they were on the periphery. So you got to make the decisions the best you can. I will say, they delivered the message to people. They had shelters open. Everybody had adequate opportunity to at least get to a shelter within the county. But, a lot of the residents did not want to do that. I think probably for various reasons. Some people just don't want to leave their home, period. They're island people, whatever. But I think part of it was so much attention was paid to Tampa that I think a lot of them probably thought that they wouldn't get the worst of it. So, but they did. And I think it's easy to second guess them, but they were ready for the whole time and made that call when it was justifiable to do so.
He shuts it right down. His answer is professional, direct, empathetic, zero tolerance for gaslighting. I love it. He just says, where were you? You thought the storm was going to Tampa, just like we did. But they did tell people to evacuate 24 hours before it did hit Fort Myers. President Biden headed to Florida. He's going to travel down there, survey the damage. It will be really interesting. We should all pay very close attention to this meeting, because it's going to be Joe Biden and Ron DeSantis. And these are the two guys that you could be voting for your next president.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Casey, when we come back, we're going to get back into these school board candidates. And whether you live in Zionsville or not, there's a whole bunch of issues going on there that are likely happening in your school district. So we're going to talk about that, kind of make you aware of some of these things. And we've got a candidate for Zionsville School Board coming up.
All right. It's on the way from 93 WIBC.
A terraced house in a main street back of town becomes a shrine when I think of you only just too up to down.
Oh, big Hammer and Nigel show coming up later on today. The crazy coupon lady, Casey Daniels, and a lot more to get to. We're going to have a good time. 93 WIBC.
Imagine if McDonald's was always within reach. Chicken McNuggets, golden crispy fries, all in the palm of your hand. With the McDonald's app, you don't have to imagine. Exclusive deals on all your delicious favorites are just a tap away.
Buy one sandwich and get one free, like the juicy, tender, crispy chicken sandwich, only in the McDonald's app. Valid through October 23rd at participating McDonald's. Valid one time daily. Excludes all double QPC sandwiches. McD app download and registration required.
Guys, if you need an annual health exam, check out the Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They'll check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with the medical provider. And they give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center, specializing in men's health. Go to lowtcenter.com right now. Book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Midterm elections are just around the corner, and you might have questions like, what should I be doing with my money now? Or, what could happen in the stock market if my side doesn't win? Join Edelman Financial Engines on Tuesday, October 11th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern for our brand new webinar, The Elections in Your Portfolio, Separating Fact from Fiction. You can register now at efewebinar.com. You'll learn how the midterm election results can impact the stock market based on decades of market data. And you'll learn how to help position your portfolio for the elections and beyond. Don't miss this important and timely webinar. Join us for The Elections and Your Portfolio, Separating Fact from Fiction, on Tuesday, October 11th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. There's no cost to attend and no obligation. Register now at efewebinar.com. That's efewebinar.com. Edelman Financial Engines. From here forward.
Sunday is right around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. And if you are looking for a new church home or even a first church home, Life Church would be a great place for you. We talk about Life Church a lot. That's where our great friend of the show, Pastor Micah Beckwith, preaches. And Life Church would like to welcome you at one of their many campuses, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, in addition to online services. Life Church might be a great place for you and your family. Learn more by visiting lifechurchin.com.
$111,000. Would you be upset if you lost $111,000? I'll tell you where you wouldn't want to be. Anywhere around this guy. Get this. 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. But you could avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery right here in Indy. He knows Social Security like the back of his hand. This free analysis will tell you exactly when to file for your benefits, so you don't leave one thin dime on the table. If you've saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-972-9172. That's 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Right now, your home equity is at an all-time high, but don't wait. How much can you get? Let's find out today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
I'm gonna find myself a girl who can show me what laughter means, and we'll fill in the
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here, and you know, Casey, we've talked a whole lot about one of the most important things that people will vote on this fall are these school board races.
Mm-hmm. People want to know who is running and what they stand for, what the platform is, why they're running. And the interesting thing about these school board elections is different from any other office you want to run for. School board, you don't have to declare which party you belong to.
So weird, isn't it? Like even coroner.
Even recorder. I don't even know what a recorder does.
Neither does the recorder. And this is an example of the power of the teachers union in Indiana and the weakness of the Republican Party, that they make it very difficult for voters to figure out who these people are and what's going on. So we figured, hey, we'll do a little bit of our part. We'll try to get to as many of these school board candidates as we can. And one of those people running, let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline, is Tim Hart. He's running in Zionsville. So Tim, tell us, why did you decide to step into the lion's den and run for school board?
Well, good morning, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate the opportunity to get out there and talk a little bit about what's going on in the schools these days. Well, I'm a dad. I've got 2 boys in Zionsville School District. I've got an 8th grader and a sophomore, and I'm a former teacher. I taught at the high school level for about 8 years, was a department chair, ran the English as a second language program over at North Central High School, my alma mater, years back, and come from along the line of teachers. And what I started seeing when my kids were coming home with some school assignments was that some of our teachers were getting away from teaching their core content, and they were teaching politics. They were getting very political in the classroom. They were starting to teach their own value set that kind of ran counter to what, we teach here at home. And as I went ahead and tried talking to the teachers about it and meeting with administrators about some of the content that was being taught, pretty much was not paid any attention to. They didn't have any issue with it. Tried talking to the school board about that as well, and the Zionsville School Board doesn't really communicate with parents. In fact, at one point, the president of the school board had told the other school board members not to respond to parents, that she would be the only one responding.
Oh, yeah, Tim, and that's happening all over the place, in which these administrators, administrators and or school board members are just treating parents like garbage. Casey, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, Tim, what would you do about this problem if you were put into the position to actually do something? What do you plan to do? What can you do?
Sure. Well, one of the great things about the state of Indiana is that our statute does give a lot of autonomy to the school board on what's going to be taught in the schools, and we have the authority to affect policy change at the local level. So the schools should be reflective of the community and that we have. So one of the first things I would do is to change the policy that was put in place by the current board that does not allow the board to respond to parents during school board meetings. I mean, one of the most fundamental things that we can do is communicate with parents. The children that attend the school district are the parents' children, not the school's children. Yeah. So if we're not even allowing parents, we're giving them the chance to talk and ask questions, but we're not allowing the board to respond. I mean, to me, that's just crazy. Mm-hmm. As a former teacher, I equate that to having a parent schedule a meeting with me because they had a concern about what was going on with their child in the classroom. And we sit down and they sit there and tell me what their concerns are, and I don't respond to them. Like, that would be crazy. I would be fired as a teacher if I did that, as I should be. Well, the board is acting the exact same way. So I'd immediately vote for a policy change in that regard. And then I would also establish a parent and a teacher committee on some of the content that's being taught that is outside of the state standards. For example, my son was given a reading assessment where it specifically said that the national anthem is racist, and so is Francis Scott Key.
Wow!
Now again, wow. Yep, and I have the hard copy. It's a resource teachers use all the time. It's on an online source that they use constantly called Newsella. That was one of the assignments, and it was a reading assessment, so they didn't even discuss it critically, and that was in the 6th grade.
Tim, let me ask you this. Tim Hart's our guest. He's running for Zionsville School Board, part of these many, many interviews we're doing with school board candidates across central Indiana, and it's important to listen because even if this isn't if you don't live in Zionsville, the stuff that's happening in Zionsville or Brownsburg or Carmel, the concerns these people are running, they're probably issues you should be asking about in your own school board race. Tim, when I was in high school, when I was growing up, I knew I had a lot of teachers that were Democrats or maybe liberal, but it didn't seem like they inflected their views, certainly from the political standpoint, on us as students or the societal standpoint. It seems like that happens more and more and more in the classroom every single year. Why is that? Do we know?
First of all, you're 100% correct. 98% of my teacher friends are Democrats. I taught in Indiana, Texas, and Florida, and it didn't matter what state I was in. That was true. They never brought out their politics in the classroom. Neither did I. That just wasn't the point. We were there to be the best American history teacher, Spanish teacher, math teacher we could be, and politics didn't help us accomplish that. Today, some of the classes, some continuing ed credits that I was taking, a few years ago, I was starting to see at the collegiate level some of that change. What the professors were teaching the new student or the new teachers to be activist teachers in the classroom, and that's actually a phrase that they use, is to be an activist teacher. So that stuff is happening more and more, and we're hiring more and more young teachers as older teachers are retiring, and we're getting that those older teachers, that mentality of keeping the classroom apolitical is also retiring, sadly. And so these young teachers feel like it is their place to become activists and to be political activists in the classroom. The other assignment my son was given, also in the 6th grade, was a podcast where the teacher told he and his 4 white student friends that their top podcast was going to be called Five White Guys, where they were going to talk about how America was systemically racist. He was personally inherently racist because he was white, and that he was afforded more privilege than others, and he was a part of an oppressor group. This was
Tim. This is in Zionsville. These things are happening. This is not like IPS.
No, Zionsville West Middle School, and our superintendent, Dr. Robeson, celebrated those podcasts, and were even submitted for a national middle school podcast competition.
Wow. Casey, go ahead.
Tim, I'm just curious. You mentioned that you have a sophomore and a middle schooler. Are your children aware of this? Do they understand?
They're aware because we have to talk about it at home. Yeah. I was, again, COVID was a blessing in from an education standpoint because it opened the eyes of a lot of people what was going on in the schools. Obviously, all of their aspects of COVID were terrible, but it's opened the eyes of people, and teachers now have shown themselves on what's going on in the classroom. My kids are being asked what their pronouns are. That stuff is not acceptable and not supposed to be happening. There's political signs in teachers' classrooms. Thankfully, the Rikita got a rule passed, and that has since stopped. But if it hadn't been for that, it's just unbelievable what's going on in the schools, and it happens everywhere. I don't care what people say. I have too many examples now running for board of families from districts all around central Indiana where this stuff is going on.
Tim, have you heard from a lot of parents now that you're running for school board? Are people coming up to you having conversations with you? Hey, did you know this was happening? And what about this? And here's another example.
Constant. I had a mom send me a screenshot of one of the pages of the book her senior daughter is reading, that she is required to read in order to graduate from Zionsville, that has a passage of a very graphic sex scene in the book that if I had ever put in the classroom when I was teaching or as a department chair, I would have been fired.
Tim Hart has been our guest. He's a candidate for Zionsville School Board. Again, we're doing this with candidates all throughout central Indiana because even if you don't live in a Zionsville or Carmel or Brownsburg or wherever the guest may be from, there's a good chance these are the issues your kids, your community is facing. Tim, you got for the people that can vote for you in Zionsville, you got website, Facebook, things like that?
Yep. You can look us up on Facebook. It's Heart for ZCS. You can do the same thing online with the website. It's heartforzcs.com, and you can learn more about us there. But again, don't forget, like you guys started off the show with, the state law does not allow there to be a Republican or Democrat affiliation with the campaign, so you have to go all the way to the back when you're voting. Find the school board races and make sure you vote for school board, because if you punch the R ticket, you're not voting for school board as well. So,
all right, Tim, great guest. Good luck, man. Keep us posted on how things are going.
Will do. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
93 WIBC. It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
Hey, Kate. So you think we got tar spot?
In that field east of the river, for sure. That's why I'd go with that Brevant Seeds Corn Hybrid.
You got those soil test results?
Yep. we'll want to increase your potash recommendation.
Should I be using a pre-emerge for mare's tail?
Absolutely. And soon.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Nope. A hot dog is a hot dog.
If it matters in ag, your retailer knows it. That's why at Brevant Seeds, we work only with retailers. Find yours at Brevant.com.
I know just enough to make me dangerous about cars, but if you're the type of person who likes to work on them, how about you do it in a really great space? Galaxy Concrete Coatings can come in and lay a coating down in your garage that's 4 times stronger than epoxy. It's UV resistant. It won't yellow. You can pick the color. It will match the siding of the house. So while you're working on that classic car, do it in a wonderful space. With Galaxy Concrete Coatings, you can drive, walk, run, dance, splash on the coating right away in less than 24 hours. Call them 317-751-9070. They're also online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Chantilly engagement ring, Caspian sapphire and diamond wedding band, Venus ruby and diamond wedding band. You've got to come to Shane Company to see our uniquely designed rings. Our in-house design team travels the world for inspiration to bring you stunning new styles in every price range. Try on any ring, hold it in your hand and feel its weight. Look closely at it. You'll be amazed with the design and the details. A Shane Company ring looks gorgeous from every angle. Choose from a range of engagement ring styles, from timeless classic rings to decorative floral rings, in platinum, yellow gold, white gold, and our lovely signature shade of rose gold. You'll see our team's passion for beautiful design when you look at our wedding bands as well. The largest selection of high-quality bands for everyone and every budget. Your rings are a symbol of your everlasting love. Visit the store or shop online to find the perfect rings for you.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This is Loyalty Lab Interview 6. Subject, grandmother's loyalty. Margie, what do you do when your grandson misbehaves?
Angels don't misbehave.
Here we study the most loyal, like you and... Oh, there goes the lamp.
Shouldn't have put it there.
Shell and the Fuel Rewards program has our members' backs too. It's super easy to save on every gallon. Loyal, just like how you acted like that wasn't his fault.
Someone should clean that up before he gets hurt.
Yes! Loyal, just like that.
10 years of FR.com. Terms and conditions apply.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me.
Coming up in 2 minutes, police have details on a murder inside of a Purdue dorm room this morning. Plus, there were several other shootings in Indianapolis between last night and this morning. And even as she was being arrested, she was advertising her product. Donnie Burgess explains coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Will less oil make gas cost more? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A group of oil-producing countries agreed today to reduce output by 2 million barrels a day. But National Security Council spokesman John Kirby shrugged that off, telling Fox,
OPEC Plus has been telling the world they're actually producing 3.5 million more barrels than they actually are. So in some ways, this announced decrease really just kind of gets them back into more line with actual production.
Now, the price of oil is up almost $1, around $87 a barrel. But gas has risen almost daily for 2 weeks, up 16 cents in that time after dropping from the $5 a gallon record high. AAA's national average for regular today, $3.83. President Biden is now flying to Florida. He'll get a look at Hurricane Ian's destruction a week later in the Fort Myers area as people keep salvaging what they can as they mourn more than the loss of their homes.
I have a couple friends on the beach that didn't make it, and some that are still missing. We, hope for the best. Fear the worst.
Search and rescue crews still looking for victims. Ian is blamed for more than 100 deaths, most of them in Florida. The FBI has put out new violent crime numbers for last year, showing a slight increase in murders, decrease overall, though, from 2020, with a caveat. The FBI is transitioning to a new reporting system.
The problem with the numbers the FBI released today, it includes a large chunk of police data across the country, but does not include numbers from New York, NYPD, and Los Angeles, some other big cities, including Phoenix as well. the FBI used a sampling of numbers from other major police departments to put out today's numbers. FBI Director Chris Wray has made it no secret. Violent crime is on the rise.
Fox's David Spun. A settlement's been reached in last year's Rust movie set shooting that left a cinematographer dead. Helena Hutchins' estate reached an agreement with the film's producers, including Alec Baldwin, the actor who fired the shot unintentionally using a prop gun he thought was loaded with blanks. They'll resume production on Rust next year. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They say the roommate killed him. It's sunny and 59 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02, brought to you by Window Nation. A student killed in his dorm room at Purdue.
Morning at 12:44 a.m., we received a 911 call from a subject alerting us to the death of his roommate.
Purdue University Police Chief Leslie Wheat, she says that they got there to find Varun Manish Chedda, 20 years old, from Indianapolis, dead. The roommate who called 911 is Jimin Shah, an international student from Korea. He was arrested and is charged with Chedda's murder, Wheat says. 4 people shot Tuesday evening throughout the city. 1 person killed, DeAndre Halbert, along East Washington Street. In another one of those shootings, a child was inside of a car.
This is a callous act, to open fire onto a vehicle that has a small child into it. It's only by the grace of God that child wasn't injured in this.
IMPD Major Mike Leeper, another person, Dwight Berryhill, was killed in a shooting early this morning as well. She told police she had the best meth that's been around.
And now she could face decades behind bars. I'm Donnie Burgess. The Star Press says Cassandra Bonowit was arrested on drug possession charges last Friday. She told the cops everything. She even bragged about the can't-miss high quality of her meth. She's got a stack of drug and child neglect charges. Her son was in the back seat with meth in the car, say police. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Fighting inflation was a topic discussed in a debate between candidates for Congress in northern Indiana Tuesday.
As a government, just continually incentivize and actually get new businesses growing.
Democrat Paul Sturry debated the issue with Libertarian William Henry. The Republican candidate Rudy Yoakum did not attend the debate. He declined to take part. Gas prices are climbing even higher in Indiana. $4.14 is the average price throughout the state today, says GasBuddy.com. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Hammer Nigel here for Window Nation. Forecasters are predicting a colder and snowier winter. Are you prepared? Have your old windows lost their integrity? The experts at Window Nation can help you prepare your home to defend against colder weather with incredible savings. Right now, get 2 windows free for every 2 you buy. Pay nothing until 2025.
And to that, thousands more in energy savings over time. Leaves may be falling, but energy costs won't be falling anytime soon. And with expert installation from Window Nation, you'll join over 150,000 smart homeowners who have Window Nation windows protecting their home, including me. Save thousands with one call. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Pay nothing until 2025. Now's the time to winterize your home with this great offer before it leaves. Rake in the savings. Window Nation, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 5th, and things trending this hour. The Bradys, Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's hunt for divorce lawyers has actually been going on for a while. That's being reported by TMZ. They say it's been in the works for weeks, and as things stand now, the marriage is beyond saving. Also trending, Crocs. They're celebrating 20 years in business, and they wrote on their website, Croctober is here. And you can, according to their website, Croc Club members can enter to win a free pair of Crocs each day during this first week of October. And finally trending, 60 years of James Bond. It was today that Dr. No, the first movie in the franchise, made its premiere in 1962. And it's also being reported that the people who make the Bond movies are not going to cast a young person to play James Bond. It will be somebody who is a little more mature and experienced.
I think we can all agree Sean Connery is James Bond. Everyone after Sean Connery was just an imposter, and they should be thanking their lucky stars that Sean Connery was so amazing as James Bond, because people have been making a lot of money off that for a very long time.
He made the franchise, and now they won't be doing it in service of the Queen's Majesty. It will be in service of the King's Majesty.
Hey, real quick, let's remind everybody, tickets for a night with WIBC are going quickly. We are down to just 150 tickets left, I was told by Hammer out in the lobby, so probably by the end of the week they will be all gone. So I see people commenting on the YouTube chat. This happened last year. It happened the year before. People kept going, I'll just wait a week and get them, and then they're going, can you guys open up another 30 seats so that I can have my... No, we can't do that. That's not how it works. So we're down to just 150 tickets. We do not want people who were not able to get tickets in the past, who did the same thing. You have to learn. That's what history is, right, Casey? It's learning from the mistakes of our past. Go ahead and just get them now so you don't have to be one of those people. Just go to Ticketmaster.com, put in WIBC. It'll pop right up. You can get your tickets. We're down to just 150 left.
Speaking of Hammer, he's going to be joining us later in the hour, along with the coach,
Dan Dockich.
Yeah, because there's a check presentation,
yes.
I hear.
So what I decided to do, because I am a great American, and I'm a person who loves people, and I love life, and I love seeing others happy. Of course, Hammer owed me money from the times he did not make weight during his contest throughout the course of the year, which I was supposed to use to take my wife to dinner at Applebee's to see Cheryl, the bartender.
Right.
And what we decided as a collective is it would be better for that money to go to a worthwhile cause. Dan Dockich has a great bikes program that provides bikes to needy children across central Indiana. And so I said, let's have that money go to that. I'm going to match that donation, that the $25 that Hammer owes. And so Hammer will present his, and then I'm going to bring mine up to the coach tomorrow.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's how we're going to end the show today.
Yes, that's why Hammer was not here at 10:45. He's not been canceled.
Something to look forward to. We hope you'll stick around for that. It is 10 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and I have a story to share with you.
Oh, great.
So as the death toll from Hurricane Ian soared past 100, heroes like U.S. Coast Guard Aviation survival technician second class Zach Loesch, one of the reasons it's not higher. He kicked through a wall and rescued a 94-year-old disabled woman and her husband, hoisting them and her wheelchair above his head into a helicopter amid high winds.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So his heroism was so outstanding that he received a phone call from President Biden, personally thanking him for his heroic work. Biden repeated his praise for him in a speech that he had on Friday, where he said, I told him how proud of him I was and thanked him for all of the work he and his coasties are doing to save lives.
That is just wonderful.
Fantastic.
And in times of great tragedy, we see the best amongst us come out, and I think that's phenomenal.
Here's the hiccup.
Oh?
This Zach Loesch, this hero who did amazing things, who got a phone call from the president, who the president repeated praise about him in a speech he gave. Well, Zach Loesch kept silent during the phone call. He's about to get kicked out of the Coast Guard on Biden's orders because he did not get the COVID-19 vaccine. He requested religious exemption, was denied. He appealed the denial. That too was denied. And now the hero who is saving lives is going to be terminated in 30 to 60 days.
Well, that is horrific. It is the most government thing ever, in which a vaccine that provides for most people little, if any, actual long-term protection. While it may provide you something in the very short term, it certainly does not for most people. It's, the statistics are showing, provide any sort of long-term protection against you getting or spreading COVID. So this national hero, who Joe Biden called to thank him for his heroism, is about to lose his job because Joe Biden is going to see to it that he's fired because he doesn't have the vaccine.
Yeah. And the White House press secretary, I'm sure she's going to set it straight, right? That's
what she does.
We're going to do something about this, right? So let's go to Karine Jean-Pierre for comment.
You've said the president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices?
I don't think that's the right clip there, Kevin. We're going to get to that one here in just a little bit. Do we have the clip of her attempting to explain why this national hero is about to be fired? Do we have it? Okay, here we go.
The president recently praised a group of Coast Guard rescue swimmers. One of them reportedly faces termination because he isn't vaccinated. And I'm curious, given the threats that we're facing abroad, would the president ever reconsider that vaccination requirement or consider issuing more exemptions?
So, as you can imagine, the president has the deepest respect for the U.S. Coast Guard. That is something that you would hear from him directly. And the president and the country are grateful for all of the U.S. Coast Guard heroes that have led the effort to save lives in Florida. We have seen that with our very own eyes these past couple of days. I would refer you specifically to the U.S. Coast Guard on this issue, on this individual questions. It's not something that I would comment from here, but there, of course, have been multiple vaccination requirements, as you know, in place for quite some time. But again, I'm not going to comment from here on an individual case.
When you don't want to comment, what do? Refer them to the department. I refer you to the department. Ask them. She's quite the gatekeeper, huh? So the Coast Guard has fallen to meet its recruiting goal since 2018.
You don't say.
Yeah. Falling short by an average of 20% per year. The Army as well is 25% short of its recruits.
We have asked this question many times, and I never get a straight answer on this, which, other than immense love of country that exceeds anything most people can understand, why would anyone want to put themselves through being a law enforcement or military person today, given how you are treated by the left and by this administration? Like, why would anybody want to do that? I'm thankful, incredibly thankful, that there are people who are still willing to do it. But the absolute garbage that these people have to consume on a daily basis is just unbelievable, and they're better people than I am.
Yeah, and having to deal with ideological directives and everything. And it's not only the people who are in the military, but it's their family.
Sure.
Can imagine what their wives, husbands, children go through.
All right, Kevin, let's take a break, because when we come back, we previewed a little bit with that audio.
Right, about gas.
Biden has taken all the credit for the gas going down. Now, it wasn't his fault when it went up initially, but he took all the credit for when it went down.
Right.
So now he's not taking credit for it going back up. And Karine Jean-Pierre got asked about that, and she just gave an unbelievable answer.
She gave a Karine Jean-Pierre answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, and we'll reveal it next from 93 WIBC.
Nothing says inflation reduction.
And the bill, as amended, is passed.
Like raising taxes.
No matter
matter what they say, this is a tax increase.
We will see those tax increases coming down the line.
It's a game changer.
And Americans are going to feel it.
We shouldn't be raising taxes.
It's a turning point.
Especially in a recession.
And it's been a long time in coming.
What happens next happens here.
Political nonsense trying to peddle his leadership.
93 WIBC.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new air conditioner or furnace is a big decision and can be pricey. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. Why? Because the PHP guarantee says, if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me. You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's out of control.
And Casey Daniels.
Isn't she the best?
On 93 WIBC.
Don't know much about history.
Yeah.
Don't know much.
Herman's Hermits Day on the show.
Don't know much about science.
I like this one.
Don't know much about.
It's 18 minutes after 11. Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So you asked this question the other night. If Biden can take credit for gas prices going down, doesn't he also get the credit when they go back up?
Well, this is why I should have been a member of the national media, Casey, and while I'm doing a huge service to the people of Central Indiana by limiting my talents to this radio station, I'm really depriving the rest of our nation this brilliance because, yes, as you pointed out, I'm so often ahead of where the national media is. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, Peter Ducey of Fox News asked this very question. If Biden takes credit for the gas prices going down, doesn't he get the credit when they go back up? Corinne Jean-Pierre, it's more nuanced than that.
You've said the president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices going up?
So it's a lot more nuance than that, right? Peter, you know this.
You know this.
You know this.
You know
it wasn't nuanced when he was responsible for them going down. So gas prices have gone up as much as 60 cents per gallon in some areas. This is causing some real problems for the Democrats because, boy, wouldn't they just love for those gas prices to stay down and they can tout that right before the election? It's not happening. It's going the other way. And Peter Ducey with the awesome follow-up question.
And there are consumers now in California paying $6.41 a gallon for gas. Nevada, $5.51. Oregon, $5.46. Who can afford that?
And we understand that. That's why the president worked so hard the past several months to make sure that he did everything we can to bring gas prices down. We have seen fastest. I know you're pulling out a couple of areas across the country, and I get that. And we understand that there's more work to do. We have never said we were done here. We have always been very clear that there is more work to do. But we have seen, the reality is, we have seen the fastest decline in gasoline prices in over a decade. That's because of what this president president has done. And again, prices going down by more than $1 per gallon. And these are real savings. You're talking about $100 per month in savings for an average family with 2 cars.
She just told people in California who are paying over $6 a gallon for gas, they're saving. These are real savings, Rob. He asked her, who can afford that? And her answer was, oh, we understand.
The president does not directly control gas prices in the sense of, oh my gosh, there was this world-altering event or country-altering event. And so, yes, naturally, when supplies get disrupted, prices are going to go up and down based on that. That is correct. So the day-to-day, no. But the trend of this country is that under Joe Biden, since he took office, they have gone they have increased by wide margins. Now, look, it was so bad. By the way, there's the Todd Young ad. Did you know he was in the Marines? Did you know the Duke of Spendenberg, Todd Young, was in the Marines, Casey?
I did.
Anyway, sorry, I got distracted there. Squirrel. The point is, hello, I'm Todd Young, and I have nothing to offer society other than I was in the Marines a long, long time ago. Please vote for me. Thanks.
And send me $4,500 because I need more funds to keep airing that ad telling you I was in the Marines.
The point is, when we are at a point where we were going, oh my gosh, gas has gone down and it's $3.50. Mm-hmm. Gas should never be $3.50 ever. You shouldn't be taking credit for gas being $3.50. You should be mortified that was how low gas got. Was $3.50.
But the White House press secretary just said that these are great savings that we're experiencing.
Right, sure. The president does control gas prices in the sense of Joe Biden sets energy policy in this country, and through executive order, he has derailed energy policy in this country, and so he owns everything that's going on, whether gas is $3.50 or $4.50 or $5.50. It's all ridiculous, and it should never happen, and it's happening because of Joe Biden.
All right, so let's talk about Cori Bush. This is the rep from Missouri. She's defending her position on defunding the police. This is a woman who seems to be solely in it for her. She was talking about this, and she doesn't want us to get caught up in semantics, Rob. It's not the words we use.
Oh, yes. So this
not it.
This clip is very important because in this case, she's talking about defunding the police, which she totally wants to do. It's the radical left, the squad, the Democrat Party, mostly as a collective. At least the people who are now rising in the power structure have said they want to do. But there's an even more valuable lesson to learn after you hear this clip, and I will explain what it is. Listen.
And you've stuck by it. In fact, you're one of the few Democrats now who still says, let's defund the police. Are you worried at all that could hurt some of your colleagues going into the midterm elections?
See, the thing about defund the police is we have to tell the entire narrative. People hear defund the police, but you know what they'll say? Say reallocate, say divest, say move. But it's still the same thing. We can't get caught up on the words. People spend more time focusing on the word defund than they spend on caring and addressing the problem of police violence in this country.
See, and this is what's most important about that, because what she said is absolutely true, and the Democrats do this all the time. It's an old communist trick in which they say, you define or redefine or make the word what it is. It can be whatever we need it to be whenever we want it to be, and when the word doesn't work, we'll come up with another word that fits, that isn't as offensive as that word. And this happens all the time. This is the exact thing that's happening right now with critical race theory in these public schools. Well, it's not critical race theory. We don't do that here. We do SEL, social emotional learning. It's this, as we talked about, it is the same thing as if saying, we don't serve hamburgers here. Well, yes, but you serve a patty,
ground beef,
and you serve a lettuce, and you serve a cheese, and you serve a tomato, and you serve a bun. Well, yes, but those are all things separately. Those are those things individually. Social emotional learning. It's not critical race theory. Why, you angry, semi-fascist, democracy-hating parents? You're lying to everyone. She just admitted this is what the left and Democrats do. They do it with more than just defund the police. They do it with a whole bunch of different things where they tell you, don't say the word that's offensive. Call it something else.
Right. It's just rebranding. You know what this is? This is like when Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin got divorced and they called it conscious uncoupling. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It still means you're not married.
Yeah.
You don't want to say divorce, conscious uncoupled. It's the same thing. You're still not married. Call it whatever you want. It's the same results. It's a disaster. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule that complete health assessment at the Low T Center. They offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy. To get started, only your first 2 visits are in person. LowTCenter.com. Book now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 38,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
We're not saying Brevant Seeds could beat every seed brand out there. We're just saying that a new way of doing things backed by constant innovation, over 100 years of ag experience, science and service, the world's largest library of corn germplasm, and utilizing the expertise that can only come from local ag retail has led Brevant Seeds to average more bushels per acre than the competition every year we've sold seed. That's all. Bucking the status quo. That's the Brevant Seed standard.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
If you have questions about buying a home or if you're ready to get pre-approved, everything starts today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Murder at Purdue. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Jeeman Shah is the suspect, charged with the murder of his roommate Varun Manish Chedda.
Neither one of them were asleep, and I believe this was unprovoked and senseless.
Purdue Police Chief Leslie Wheat says the cops arrested Shah within minutes of him calling 911. It's possible gas prices could be going up. OPEC has agreed to cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby downplaying the decision.
OPEC Plus has been telling the world they're actually producing 3.5 million more barrels than they actually are. In some ways, this announced decrease really just kind of gets them back into more aligned with actual production.
The cut in production also means taking a bunch of oil from Russia out of the market. Right now, you're paying an average of $4.14 a gallon in Indiana, says Gas Buddy. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is 11:29 with Kendall and Casey. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. It was like my second day here at WIBC, and I looked at Rob and said, "What's the deal with you and Holcomb?" And he said, "How much time you got?" Well, I've got some time, and hopefully you do too, because some new polling numbers just arrived, hot off the presses.
It finally happened, Casey.
And you could not wipe the smile off Rob's face right now.
It finally happened. Like I can't believe it. It only took 6 years and multiple, many tax increases, the shutdown of society, trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask, having the VIP meet and greet with a domestic terrorist. All of those things. It finally happened.
Apparently, those things are not sitting well with Hoosiers.
It finally happened.
In the great state of Indiana.
Because Eric Holcomb is finally underwater In this poll from Abdul, 47% of Hoosiers disapproving of the job he's doing compared to 44% approving. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. It is totally a shame that it took this long and for this many egregious acts by old Lockdown McGee, High Tax Holcomb. But on this day, October the 5th, 2022, he is officially where he belongs, completely underwater, and I hope he stays there.
Okay, so this is from indiepolitics.org, and this is a poll done by Abdul Hakim Shabazz, and the title of the article, Biden, Holcomb, Abortion, and Marijuana. So he did some polling. The survey found that a majority of Indiana voters, 55%, are disapproving of Joe Biden's job as president. It also says that Biden is 14 points underwater. And then Governor Holcomb lagging with his job approval numbers, 47% disapproving of the job he's doing as well.
If you're one of the 44% who still approve of the job Holcomb's doing, because we all know, I mean, look, it's just simple math. Hundreds of thousands of conservatives and liberty-minded people walked away from the Republican Party in 2020 and voted for Donald Rainwater. Hopefully, all of those people will do the exact same thing in 2022 and will walk away from the Republican Party and vote for Jeff Moore and James Syniak, the libertarians, to continue to send that message and will not embolden total zeros like Todd Young and Diego Morales. But regardless, if you are when hundreds of thousands of people walk away from the party and vote for someone else, and the candidate still gets basically the same percentage as he got in 2016, it's clear those votes were made up with Democrats. Democrats loved what Eric Holcomb did. Democrats, I saw tons of yards where it was Biden and Holcomb, signs together. They loved the mask mandates. They loved the tax increases. They loved the shutdown of society. They loved all the stuff Holcomb did. If you are still a 44% person, what part of Indiana's existence do you look at and go, there's some fine leadership going on here? They're sitting on $1,500 of your money and gave you $200 back. At what point do you look at and say, the people in charge of this state really have my best interest at heart? If you are a 44% person who says, yes, I still approve of the job Lockdown McGee is doing, you call our hotline right now at 317-684-8444, and you tell me what about Indiana's existence do you say that's going very well?
Okay, so something else that was addressed in this poll was the legalization of marijuana, and votes overwhelmingly support the legalization of marijuana here in Indiana. 53% supporting full legalization, 24% supporting medicinal legalization, and only 15% opposing legalization of any kind of cannabis. Wow.
What were the numbers again?
Okay, so 53 support, 24 want medical, and 15% are opposing.
So
more than half of these people want the legalization of cannabis in the state of Indiana.
For recreational use, it's 77. I'm doing public school math here. 77% when you factor in medical. So if you said, do you favor the use of medical marijuana? 77% say yes. If it's just recreational, it is still a majority of people. Now, look, the polls are but a snapshot of a moment in time. I will say this. The poll Abdul did in the mayoral race in 2019 was almost spot on. I've got some issues, and we'll talk about him with this tomorrow, about this poll. But the issues I have with him, what I would think would tend to favor Biden and Holcomb. Like, I would think they are probably not even as popular as this poll says. And I'm going to be curious to get his thoughts on this tomorrow when he is in here and we ask him about that. But it's a great day, Casey. I can't. Look, I got a haircut. Todd Young is on the airwaves, once again reminding me that he was in the Marines. And Dan Dockich is getting ready to come in here, and we're going to give him some money for his charity. And finally, at least in this poll, and let's face it, Abdul is an establishment guy. Has no interest in making the governor look bad, as we just had this conversation with him during one of our breaks. Governor Eric Holcomb, finally, it took massive tax increases, record growth of government, record government spending, shutting down society, closing tens of thousands of businesses, putting over 1 million people out of work, trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask, having the VIP meet and greet with Malik Mohammed. But finally, Casey.
When you say all of those things, you would almost think that the disapproval rating would be bigger.
Which is why I come back to, if you're a 44% person, tell me of the things that I just named that you agree with, 317-684-8444. But I would like to think at least there are 47% of the populace paying attention who are finally sick of this guy's crap and are no longer willing to tolerate it. And the only thing that would make me more happy is if indeed Mike Braun does decide to run for governor and up for U.S. Senate. Holcomb is arrogant, conceited, and elitist enough to put his name on the ballot so we can finally collectively as a society, with our votes, tell him what we think of him.
It is 11:36. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. He's going to sleep well tonight, I'm guessing. But a majority of Americans, a staggering amount of people, not sleeping well at night. This is from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. They surveyed 2,000 adults, and they found out 88% of people not doing so well, especially women. They reported personal health issues, not resting peacefully through the night. The percentage of men, slightly lower, 83%, but worries are keeping Americans up at night.
It is. I saw this the other night. We are a society that does not reward proactive approaches to health. So like we talked about this yesterday. My wife and I have decided we must start eating better for our physical health. It is markedly more expensive and harder to find food that is good for you, that makes you feel better consistently. Why is that? Why is it that we as a society who spend trillions of dollars on reactive health care make it harder and more expensive to do a primary thing that day in and day out would reduce your medical costs, reduce your healthcare costs, make you feel better? Why is good food so much more expensive than bad food? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I think that you should become a gentleman farmer and really test your hand at some conservation and possibly become the Teddy Roosevelt of your day.
Yeah.
Turn that big backyard of yours into a nice garden and grow some of your own vegetables.
So I told you this true story that I am a crop grower now. Did I tell you this?
No.
Oh, yes. So the lady who owned the house before me, she had one of those things that I guess they were designed for birds or squirrels, in which you would put like corn on them and they would come eat them. Apparently, at some point, a squirrel, in navigating the corn from the post to the tree, dropped some corn plant, because I have had corn growing up in my backyard and I have been picking it, baby corn especially, and have been consuming it.
Have you been eating it?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's great.
Okay.
And so I have like 4 corn stalks growing up in my backyard, and I think that definitely makes me a leading farming expert in the state of Indiana.
You know what? We should really have Pat and Denny on again, and they could give you some tips of what are some easy starter plants and vegetables for you to, get in there just to begin with. The 101 level. And then we can raise you higher and higher.
Sure. No, absolutely. My grandmother, for years and years and years, had many plants. She had cantaloupe. She grew cantaloupe. She had a cherry tree, apple tree, a grape harbor. She grew tomatoes.
Have you ever had rhubarb pie? It's very sweet.
I have a what?
Rhubarb. My grandma used to grow.
Who would eat that? What is that?
I've had that.
What is that?
Rhubarb.
What is a rhubarb?
Well,
is that a thing that grows out of the ground?
It's like a plant, I guess.
It's like a plant.
Very good analysis, Kevin.
It's like a leafy plant. That's the best way I can describe it.
The texture reminds me of celery. It kind of is a little stringy, but it's very sweet. And
so what is it? Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Is it growing a tree? Is it in the ground?
It's a vegetable, but it's a sweet one. It's like a root vegetable.
So somebody out there says, I will grow rhubarb with my land.
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. And it's sweet. Yeah. You should try it.
Yeah, rhubarb pie goes...
And I think it grows naturally, so it's an easy one to start with.
Huh.
Yeah, it goes really well with vanilla ice cream.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Boy, you're just a Hoosier through and through, aren't you, Kevin?
I am.
American flag in the front yard, rhubarb pie on the windowsill, eating his ice cream. You're probably having yourself a Bluebell Country Day right now, aren't you, Kevin?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have some persimmon pudding later.
Get yourself a pork tenderloin sandwich.
Exactly.
Okay, there we go. All things Hoosier. Okay, so coming up in just a bit, we've got Hammer and the coach Dan Dockich joining us. But before we get into that, have you seen how Willie Nelson, the redheaded stranger, has been trending for the past 3 days? He's all over the news. And when I first see someone who is of the age of Willie Nelson trending, makes me a little nervous.
You think they passed away?
Oh boy, what's going on here? But it's because he is endorsing Beto O'Rourke during the Vote Him Out campaign. He was at the rally in Texas, in Austin this weekend, and he's been there. And I'm so surprised. I'm not surprised that he's endorsing Beto O'Rourke, because that's a progressive endorsing a progressive. That he's been doing that for years. The surprising part to me is that he is still doing it, Rob. At 89 years old, he is still on stage. He's still singing songs. He's still out there pushing his politics.
I think we talked about this. I don't know if it's happened yet, but I saw Frankie Valli was playing somewhere around here, and he's 88 years old. Which is pretty amazing. Frankie Valli's not playing for a political candidate. But Casey, who is the person who goes, I'm really on the fence. Like, I don't know. Do I want a candidate who wants mass legal immigration? Or do I want a candidate that wants a secure border? I can't really make up my mind on that. Do I want a candidate that's for on-demand sucking the brains out of a defenseless fetus? Or do I want a candidate that values life? Do I want a candidate that's for ridiculous government involvement in your life and taking your guns? Or do I want a candidate that wants limited government and liberty and freedom? I don't know. Willie Nelson, help me decide. Willie Nelson, you
what
tell
say
me
you,
what I
Willie?
need. I was on the fence. I was all
I know. He's not going to sway your vote.
But
one way or the other.
Whose vote does he sway? Who made their vote based on Willie Nelson?
Well, don't you wish that Biden could remember words in his speeches like Willie remembers his songs?
If you are a person who votes based on what a celebrity tells you, call 317-684-8444. Explain yourself.
I met Willie Nelson 28 years ago. I went on his tour bus, and it was in Lansing, 1994. So here's the thing. When I met him 28 years ago, people say, what was Willie like?
Yes.
And my answer was always, he was the sweetest, gentlest man, like an old grandpa.
Because you got high. Because you got high. Because you got high.
He was 60 then. It was 28 years ago. And he was a gentle grandpa.
We gotta give Dan Dockich some money.
And some time. So let's do that. It's 93 WIBC. They're up next.
Oh, big Hammer and Nigel show coming up later on today. The crazy coupon lady, Casey Daniels, and a lot more to get to. We're going to have a good time. 93 WIBC.
A little message here for my fabulous friends at Life Church. By now, most of you are very aware of our great friend of the show, Pastor Micah Beckwith. And as many of you are aware, in addition to being a trusted conservative fighter, he's also a part of the Life Church community that would love to welcome you and your family. They've got 4 campuses, including Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus online services. Learn more about Micah, Nathan, and the rest of the Life Church community by visiting their website at lifechurch.com.
Smart homeowners know that proper maintenance of their home's AC can save a bundle in the long run. Trust our comfort specialists at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to keep your AC running strong. A proactive tune-up can actually help your AC run more efficiently and save you money on your electric bill. Call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. We won't leave you waiting. Sing it with me.
Always on time or you don't pay time. Always on time or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Dan Dockich strikes me as the sort of guy who would like Herman's Hermits. You listen to that a lot on campus at IU, like before you shut down Jordan. Was that the theme that you listened to?
I'm so backwards. If it wasn't on WLS in Chicago, Top 40 Hits, I didn't know. In fact, a friend of mine named Lauren Naraki, she lives here, when we were freshmen, she's like, Dan, we're going over to Johnny Cougar's house. You want to come? I said, who's Johnny Cougar? I didn't even know. I did not know. This is 1981 in the fall. I had no idea. I go, no, how was that? Well, I don't go to his house.
I feel like inside of Johnny Cougar's house, there's a lot of denim. It just feels like you walk into that house and like nobody has a shirt on and there's a lot of denim.
And somebody's smoking. Like I feel like somebody's burning a heater outside.
No.
Asleep smoking.
He quit smoking because of his heart attack.
Oh, good.
He said he used to wake up in the middle of the night, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, go have a cigarette, and when he had a heart attack, he was like, okay, I need
but John Mellencamp
waking up in the
did that.
middle.
Johnny Cougar was smoking left and right.
Cougar was, the Coug we called him.
Coach, what sort of music did Bob Knight listen to? Like he strikes me as a Perry Cuomo sort of guy.
No, it was the Oak Ridge Boys. The only thing I ever saw, he had a cassette player, and only. It's funny you say that because I heard the Oak Ridge Boys as I was driving. I'm like, that's the only thing I ever saw him drink alcohol wise was sangria, and only music I ever heard him listen to. He had a cassette of the Oak Ridge Boys.
So you're going to tell me after chewing out Greg Graham for not recovering, he cranked up Elvira?
Oh, man, he couldn't wait. I mean, the joint was jumping. It was a dance party. You think Brian Kelly couldn't dance?
Was there ever a moment when you were hanging out with Coach and you're like, this is really fun, or was it all just markedly uncomfortable?
I used to tell him, like, no, it was really fun. It was really, it was. I mean, it was. It was not all. I remember we were driving one day. I'll never forget. It was a nice day like this. It was in the fall. And we were driving up Jordan, which is big dorm, Briscoe, and then all these dorms. I go, Coach, do you know how many kids right now are having sex? And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, come on. It's a beautiful day. And nobody's going to class. He goes, is that what you did in college? I go, well, if I could.
Is that what you did in college? No, I studied the entire time.
But I used to say things like that just to make him nuts. Just to, and I do remember that. We looked at Briscoe. He goes, what do you think? I go, Coach, do you know how many people right now? But he was actually fun most of the time. Sometimes.
So we have a presentation for you because Hammer and I have, Hammer lost a lot of weight this year.
I was just noticing when he was standing. Normally when Hammer comes in here, he sits down in the chair, but today you're standing up. And when you're standing up, I can tell how
spreads
much
the fat
weight
around
he's
a little
lost.
better.
It does.
He doesn't have the fat anymore. He got rid of it.
Hey, can I say one thing before you do this presentation?
Yeah, sure.
So Rob comes to my house. I don't think I've said this on the show. Rob comes to my house. Hammer comes to my house. We're having a 60th birthday party for me. And I got to tell you, your partner, Casey, is a superstar. I mean,
listen to this
Ryan
guy.
Sloane's wife. Listen, is that Rob Kendall? Yeah.
Well, he does have that big booming voice, so
man,
it's hard to.
They're like, is Rob Kendall's here? And so, of course, I got into some tequila, and all I could do was, hey, that's Rob Kendall, everybody.
At some point, we were worried because Dan was down playing cornhole by the pool, and Dan didn't fall in, did he? No, he's down there playing cornhole.
Yeah,
all right.
no.
And it's funny because that goes full circle because Rob, your dad is like IU super fan, and you texted your dad, I'm totally at Dan Dockich's house. Brian Sloane's here.
I know Hammer has this with your parents too, because like we have our own shows, but the only time I think our parents are super impressed, hey, my friend said you were on with Dan Dockich today.
100%. My mom and dad, I heard you on with Dan. It sounded good. It sounded like a real show.
You're like, I'm on every day.
Right. They probably said when you were on, it finally sounded like a real show, not the normal dribble. Hey, what are you doing for me?
Well, so here's the deal. Hammer was morbidly obese when the year. I love that's just a classic move there. What are you doing for me? Hammer was morbidly obese when the year started.
Thank you.
And he looked in the mirror and said, "I got to make a lot of changes." And you did. You look like a new person when I look at you.
I appreciate that.
And it's weird because I didn't realize how fat you were until you lost all the weight. And I'll give you credit because it's been a couple of weeks and it doesn't seem like you've gone back to doing the terrible behavior that put on all the weight to begin with.
I'm one vacation away, though, from having to really start this process again because that's how I gain weight. I gain weight quickly, I lose it quickly, but thank you.
Yeah, and so part of Hammer's motivation to lose weight each week was that every time he gained weight, he would have to put $5 in a kitty that was supposed to go to me to go to Applebee's. And I have an affinity for the waitress or the bartenders at Applebee's. They're kind of a
Cheryl's always taking good care of you.
Yeah, kind of a composite of every bartender I've ever had. Mid-40s. taking multiple smoke breaks throughout the shift, 3 or 4 kids. And so by the time we got all done, he knows it's true, right?
Of course. I know her.
Who works probably harder than he does.
Absolutely, much harder.
I've never been to that Applebee's, but I guarantee you I know that bartender.
Yeah, that's right. I knew. Yep. And so by the time we got all done, Hammer did a phenomenal job. I wish he would have gained more weight throughout the process or not made his weight, but he ended up owing $25 in the kitty because you used 3 timeouts and 5 weeks you gained weight. And so when we got done, because as you know, Coach, I'm a very giving, loving, person who values society. I said, I'll pay to see Cheryl myself. She's worth the price of admission on her own. And so why don't we do something worthwhile with that money? And I think your charity, which I wanted you to tell everybody about, is one of the phenomenal charities that does a ton of good in Central Indiana. Let's give it to your bikes program.
I'll match. What are you guys giving? I'll match whatever it is.
So I got 25 here.
And
I will bring you $25 tomorrow on the air.
You already gave me 40.
I know, but I love the program.
Well, thanks.
I want one bike.
This is a lot of trust, by the way. I was going to say, I got his stripper money here.
I don't want
it's
that
not
to
singles.
be.
I got singles. I got his boob money.
That better not go on a Mac parlay. No. I'm just telling you right now. I want that to go to the bike program, not on a Mac parlay.
I will tell you, you're going to come up tomorrow.
Yep, I'm going to bring you 25.
This is going to be walked like I did with your 40. This will be walked right across the street. The Indiana Sports Corp is in the building over where the Hyatt is. I will walk up. I will take the elevator up, and I will hand it to a beautiful young lady named Molly Wright, who does great things over there, and she works our bikes program. I'm going to bring a check. You're giving $50. I'll match this, and we'll have $100 over there tomorrow.
And Rob, if your listeners want to get involved, if they feel like this is a great charity,
it's awesome.
What's the best way they can make a donation?
Yeah, thank you for that. It is awesome, actually. We just gave away 80 more bikes. Our goal is we need help though. We've got to have some corporations involved. But it's Dockage Cycles for the City, and the way you find it, it's all. I wish we could take refurbished bikes. We can't. It's through the Sports Corp. Go to indsportscorp.org. And you'll see across the top, there's a tab, Inspire Sports, and there we are, Dockage Cycles. I'll put the link out on Twitter. And what we do is, Molly, right, over at the Sports Corp, they have relationships with different places, churches and stuff, and we just go give bikes. Dick's is a great partner with us. We give bike, helmet, lock. Where would I go this week? We went over to, Hawthorne's Community Center over by Working Man's. Went over to Tab, which is a Tab. They call it Tab. Great people over there. Went over to the Boy Scouts, got bikes, a couple IPS schools. We gave away 80. Our goal, we're at about 160, 180 this year. We're trying to get to 300 to 500.
That's awesome.
And we want to do it at Christmas. But we got to have all the money and basically by Thanksgiving because you got to bikes are hard to find. I'm telling you, when my wife and I started this, we would just find, Casey, we were riding down the street, just driving. And 2 kids were on a bike. One kid wasn't. You could tell he was hustling. We started talking about bikes. We're like, we got to get kids bikes. Mm-hmm. So I put it out on my show. Teachers would call in and say, I got this family. So Lee and I would go buy bike, literally. And we probably bought 70 or 80 bikes out of our pocket. Sports Corp heard about it. They wanted a partner, which was great. Now we're at probably 800 or 900, maybe 1,000. And but it started out, and then the pandemic, we could not get bikes.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned you can't do rehab bikes, so you're doing all brand new bikes.
Brand new bike, helmet lock.
And you've run into a problem finding bikes because there's been a shortage during the pandemic.
I'm telling you, I would drive home from work, or from here, whatever you call this. I don't know if this is work. And I would tell Lee, I'm going to stop at Target, or I'm going to stop at Dick's, or I'm going to stop at wherever, Sam's Club, and we could never find it. If we found one, it was like gold, we would buy it. Because we had a list of kids that we wanted to get to. But now the Sports Corp, because of Dick's, it's just been off the charts. And again, Dockage Cycles for the City, you can go to it, just put Dockage Cycles for the City and the link will come up if you Google it.
I am amazed that you do this because the Indy star, Greg and Dana, have told me what a terrible person you are. And I was amazed to know you do such good work across Central Indiana.
One of my things in life is when bad people don't like you, you're doing good stuff, man. That's how I look at the world. So I'm all good. Look, the one thing, you can write whatever you want, but criticizing this program, which Doyle did, is just shows what a jackass he is. I mean, if you want to know the truth.
Who's going to win this game Thursday night? You guys have a beer bet on this one?
Oh, man. Do I owe you beer? Yes. I took Indiana.
Yes.
Boy, that was dumb.
Oh, man.
Listen, I'm going against the grain. Everybody is saying Broncos. Everybody's saying under. I'm going to be the one man standing out there shirtless saying, bring it on. I'm like the Joker in the 89 Batman movie. Come on, you ugly son of a blank. Give me the Colts plus 3.5 and give me the over 43.
This won't be a beer bet.
No.
Because I'm taking the Colts too. I want Broncos stink. Colts defense is good. At some point, the Colts have to be good. Like at some point. I mean, they just do. I mean, they played 16
Is
quarters.
it bad the entire studio just broke out in laughter?
And when I heard
You're so funny.
When I heard myself say it, I'm thinking that's a stupid analysis right there. But their defense is pretty good. You know, they've played, this is my estimation. You guys watch again. I think they've played 4 quarters out of 16 that have been life-filled. Everything else has been lifeless.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
They play better on the road for whatever reason against decent teams. That's the Colts thing. I don't know if they win, but I think they hang around, and I'll take the Colts in the points.
All right, we got two show promos to do. Hammer, what's coming up with you today?
Casey will join us. Tony Kennett will join us. Brian Baker fills in for Big Nige and the Crazy Coupon Lady.
Coach, what's coming up with you today?
I got Mike Tirico joining me, and I got some guy from the Broncos going to tell us about the Broncos. I can't remember his name.
All right.
I got to go. See
Some
ya.
Thank you, Dan
guy.
Dockage. Thank you,
all so
Hammer.
much.
Thank you, Rob, Kendall. Good job, Kevin. And thank you for listening. It's 93 WIBC. We're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow.
When physical therapy didn't work, when rest and medication didn't do the job, when your doctor says now's the time.